Have some fun tonight. Go get us a W. Hell yeah. Ready. Green. What the copy? Right foot down. We got to go, player. Unbelievable, man. Way to keep your head in it. Holy oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah. What? Yeah. I'm done with it. Miss your face. Set sail. Steve, you look beautiful. Doing great. Ridiculous, man. Holy. You see that? Holy cow. Good job, man. Two times, baby. Yeah. Holy crap.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy, Darren Gilliam, a.k.a. Black Flags Matter, back for another edition of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Okay, I had to catch my breath for a second there. But I am privileged to be joined once again by our usual panel, the Iceberg, Eric Eastep, and Dannybtalks. How's it going, fellas?
Going all right. I thought my stream glitched out for a second when you were just
Nah, I got I'm long-winded.
One of your more aggressive openers you've had in a while.
Yeah, I'm very long-winded too.
I just realized I left my AC on and it's freezing in here. I'll be right back for a second. It's too cold for the iceberg.
Just grab a jacket.
Damn, too cold for the iceberg. Never thought I'd see the day. But what's going on, y'all?
I never thought I'd see the day he'd actually leave his air conditioner on. He's always worried about us hearing it. We never do.
Yeah, we never hear it. We never hear it at all. But what's going on, guys? It's great to have everybody back for another edition of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast on Black Flags Matter. I see we have just a little over 200 people watching. Make sure to click the like button. We just got started. Dang, guys, you guys have been waiting for this show. I know I have. But fellas, let's get into it. What we do each week. We're already a quarter of the way into the season, but we got our hot take segment first before we go over Martinsville. Eric, you start us off.
I don't know how hot a take this is. I just want to talk about Kyle Larson for a moment because I think we're starting to witness the beginnings of another 2021 type season. I don't know if he'll get to 10 wins. I think that's going to be tough to do in the next gen era with all the parity, everyone more equal. But he's the second driver, I guess, now to have 2 wins on the season. He wasn't hit with a massive penalty the way his teammate William Byron was, so he's way higher up in the points. And Kyle Larson was this close to winning the Daytona 500. He was right there in the mix on the last lap. He was this close to winning Las Vegas. He was this close to winning Phoenix. He's been this close to winning a handful of races. And earlier this week, or I think it was last night, he won. I didn't see where it was. I think it was at Eldora. He won in his first ever start. I want to say it was in a dirt modified. I don't remember the exact type of car it was, but it was his first time driving that type of car at Eldora, and he won. And it just reminds me of 2021 when he was winning like 2 dirt races a week, showing up on Sundays and contending for the win every other week. I just think Kyle Larson is, like, right now he's the championship favorite. I think there's a great chance he's going to once again pace the series with the most wins.
Okay. Danny?
My hot take is a driver who is looking to get his first win in the NASCAR Cup Series. He's won in the other 2 series, but needs to get that one. And you know what? He showed this weekend he's got potential to do it. I think Ryan Preece was probably one of the best pickups that Stewart-Haas Racing could have gotten. It's been off to a rough start, to say the least, but there is quite a few tracks that still play into his favor coming up this year. New Hampshire, Gateway, lots more of these flat tracks that they could easily unload and have really good speed. So I'm keeping my eye on Ryan Preece to have another chance to go for a win, and I don't think they'll make that speeding mistake again.
Yeah.
Well, mine is that, and I think this is more of a bold prediction than anything, and then we can write it down now. We can see if it's wrong, anything like that. But I think that NASCAR, SMI, somebody is going to, just as a crazy one-off, I don't know what they're going to do, we are going to see a completely different package in some way for the All-Star race. North Wilkesboro with this package, I don't know, would race that well. I don't think people want to see a Richmond race, even though I didn't think it was that bad for the All-Star race at a track we've been waiting about 30 years to see. I think if it races like Martinsville, this race would be viewed as a failure. So I think that they're going to swing for the fences and do something completely different. Maybe test out groove tires for that race. Maybe, they talked about the relative ease of adding 50 to 100 horsepower. Maybe do that, but they're going to do something for that race so it's not a failure, or at least they tried to make it not a failure.
Stewart-Haas Racing had the best thing that could have ever happened to them happen last weekend. They were extremely dominant. All four cars, at the very least, were inside the top 7. It was absolutely crazy. It was crazier to see them qualify so well. Eric, you were there. I know you were not expecting to see Stewart-Haas qualify that well, but they showed me enough in the race to say I could see them winning multiple races. Now, hear me out. Hear me out first. On short tracks, the short track package they have right now, we saw it at Richmond. They were better than usual. But at Martinsville, they just completely were dominant. But unfortunately, since they haven't been in that type of dominating position for so long, I want to say since what, like 2020? Well, the team as a whole, maybe 2018, 2019 to some extent. It's certainly been a while since they've been that dominant. So obviously they were going to make mistakes there. I mean, Harvick was going to be there at the end. Can't fault him. Just, tire issues, or lug nut issue. It sounds like, even though it was on, but then it wasn't really on. I don't know. It was confusing, but I'm going to bet right now. I'm going to say this on my hottest take. Stewart-Haas Racing will win multiple races in 2023, not just with Kevin Harvick, but with either Chase Briscoe or Ryan Preece.
Not Eric Almirola.
No, I don't know. Like he did good,
Hey,
but I don't know. I don't know, man.
He might surprise us and pull off another New Hampshire.
Yeah, hey, you never know. You never know. But yep, while I get the poll up of who had the hottest take, Eric, you start us off. You were at the race last weekend at Martinsville. Kyle Larson's second victory of the 2023 season. What'd you think?
Yeah.
What'd you think about Larson's performance, man?
I mean, I already kind of talked about a little bit of my hot take. I just think we're destined for another 2021 light season. And I think Martinsville is sort of the latest evidence. I mean, Kyle Larson has never been good here. He said after the race, after the race, he specifically said he's wished for this place to flood. He's wished for this place to burn down. Like he hated Martinsville. Not good here. Gets in a good car, good crew chief, good setup with Hendrick Motorsports, and suddenly he's in victory lane anyways. And I think that's scary. If Kyle Larson's winning at a track that he actively does not like, I just think that's scary. So I don't have a whole lot else to say. Kyle Larson was, I don't know if he was the most dominant car. I mean, you saw Stewart-Haas Racing with Preece and then later on with Briscoe leading by far the most laps. But Kyle Larson's team, you can almost always count on them to execute. Briscoe's team, maybe bad strategy plays towards the end. They kept favoring tires over track position, which didn't really make sense. Harvick's team made a mistake on pit road. Preece sped on pit road. Larson, Cliff Daniels, that pit crew didn't make any mistakes. And in a track position race like Martinsville was, if you're fast, you just got to avoid the mistakes and you'll get the win. So, no, I don't have much else to say. I just think Kyle Larson winning at one of his worst tracks, convincingly, I would say, is scary for the rest of the competition.
And what's even scarier to me is, and I'll go to Jared next after I say this really quick. What's even scarier to me is that throughout the race, he was not really a true contender for the win at all, really, until you started getting some cautions, and then he was back inside the top 5, made the track position work, was able to eventually pass Joey Logano, and we'll get to Joey Logano. His day was absolutely crazy, but yeah, if he's doing this good on a track where he typically sucks, then oh boy, hey, watch out, field, watch out. But Jarrett, what'd you think about Larson?
I want to kind of echo about the 2021 point. So in 2021, he did win in the 4th race. He didn't get his second win of that season until race 15.
Good point.
So he won 9 races of the last 22.
Yep.
What's to say he couldn't do something similar again this year? Now, granted, he won 3 in a row when he did that. But it really does for me feel like, I never really thought he went away last year. He won 3 races? Like that.
Yeah.
For any normal driver, I'd say for any driver that's not maybe, I don't know, Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, I guess previously Kyle Busch or Kevin Harvick, that to me is pretty good. 3 wins is the usual. But I think that just shows how good he did that year. So I think he is definitely a championship 4 contender. You never know what's going to happen at Phoenix at that point. I think that overall, though, when it comes to the outlook for his season, I think it's scary. I just think that now that he's more used to this next-gen car, It's not something that is as new as it was last year, because towards the end of the year, it seemed like he started to get faster as the year went on. I think he's scary, and I think the floodgates at this point could open.
By the way, really quick, Eric W., thank you so much for gifting 20 BFM channel memberships. Really appreciate it. Danny, go ahead.
Yeah, the thing with Larson, you mentioned that he won 3 in a row that season. Who's to say he's not about to? I mean, I don't necessarily think he's going to win Talladega this weekend, but hey, last year he was second coming to the line. He made a bad decision to go way up the track, and then Eric Jones made an even worse decision to try to block that. But I mean, he still found himself there at the end of that one. So for once, it feels like he's never there. But you never know. He could be getting ready to go on another 2021-esque run. You just never know if Kyle Larson. He could easily do it at any second. You just give him a chance. But now I will say this though: his 2 wins he's had this year. I don't necessarily think he was looking like the car in that race. But he did have a couple of races this season where I felt like he was the car, but Byron ended up getting those. So, give it more time and we'll see how it plays out for Larson.
Yeah, but it's certainly scary this early in the season. Already 2 wins. I know William Byron has 2 wins, but I mean, really Hendrick as a whole is looking extremely scary, man. Just feels like it's the 2014 season again to some extent, but I don't know. I always felt like in those days, like Casey Kane, like, I mean, he's a great driver, but out of those 3, he was like, especially in 2014, he was the weakest link. As for Hendrick Motorsports, I mean, Chase Elliott, we'll get to him later on, but I mean, he's finally back, and I mean, scores a top 10. And he really didn't have the best day. I mean, he was just trying to get reacclimated, to racing in a NASCAR race again, and he was still able to get a top 10. So the sky's the limit for Hendrick Motorsports, in my opinion. But what isn't the limit, though, is unfortunately Martinsville was not viewed in the most favorable light over the weekend. Eric, you were there. I gotta be honest, like on TV. I'll be honest here. The Long Beach Grand Prix was on at the same time as the Martinsville race. And there were some times when the Martinsville race, it was like, like nobody's really doing anything. So I got to flip back and forth. And, the one difference I was noticing was in the Long Beach GP, tires were definitely making the difference, but it didn't seem to matter in the race at Martinsville. But you were there though, Eric. Was there do you have a much different perspective, or are you kind of in the same boat as us?
Yeah, it wasn't a great race. Now, excuse me, I've only been to 2 Martinsville races in person, and they've both arguably been the 2 worst Martinsville races in the last like 20
So it's
years.
your fault. So it's your fault.
So compared to last year's race, spring race, where it was like 30, 40 degrees, it was a night race. This race was much better. I think this race was closer to the fall race at Martinsville when they brought a softer tire last year, and it was decent. It was okay. It was watchable. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't what we come to expect from Martinsville, but it was serviceable. And I would consider this past Sunday's race serviceable. It's not the kind of race that I think is going to, keep renewing season tickets. It needs work. It's not perfect. They shouldn't be satisfied. It was just serviceable in this case. Let me put it this way. If that's what they roll out for the fall race, which is always very consequential, always full of drama, full of storylines, if this is the product they roll out for that race, it will be disappointing, no doubt. But for a spring Martinsville race, it was fine. But that was me being there in person, where I have a great view of over top of the track. I can see every corner, every battle. And, I don't know what TV saw or didn't see, more importantly. So it was good. Definitely needs some work. Drivers have said more horsepower. Maybe that's doable. Change the tire, softer compound groove tires, whatever the case may be. Get some grip out of these cars. Eliminate the shifting if at all possible. Yes to all those things. I think that would make the Martinsville racing significantly better.
And really quick, Eric, a question from John P. Did you eat a Martinsville hot dog?
I had 3 or 4 of them. I had 4 this weekend.
Wow, only 4? Wow,
I had 2 last year.
That's very low. That's very low, though.
Well, I'm not like Jared, who stuffed like 16 of them.
Hey, I did that too. Those are great.
It was a necessary deal to keep myself warm last year.
Yeah,
that is true.
I'll put it like this: when I go to Martinsville in the fall, I'm planning to have a lot of cash.
And really quick, I won the hot take, by the way. So yay me! I think that's 3 this year. That's 3 this year, I think. So nice. But let's continue though. Jared, go ahead.
Go ahead on what? Martinsville hot dogs.
Yeah.
The fact that
my
Wendy's
bad.
hyped up our race last night, even though it wasn't theirs. Like,
what
am I needing to go on about?
Quick? Do you want to talk about that?
I
really
mean,
quick?
I can. And
yeah, go ahead.
So we do the NR Cup series, and the first race on my channel was last night at Talladega, and at the same time, as it turned out, the iRacing like Coke series had their Talladega race sponsored by Wendy's as well, or not as well. Theirs was sponsored by Wendy's, ours wasn't.
Yeah.
For about the first 50 laps, you can go back and rewatch it with the chat. Wendy's official account is sitting there hyping us up the whole time.
Were you guys getting more views or something?
Yes, yeah, we actually were beating them for most of the night.
That's why they assumed that was it.
They typed in iRacing and yours was the first to come up.
But you gotta blame the admin on that one. Like you gotta look at the details, yo.
They just know what's up. They just know what's up.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's not something they can get mad about. But
that's funny though, because like Wendy's, their accounts usually roast other people, but now we can roast them. Okay,
it was great.
So, that's good.
But talking about Martinsville, so I think out of all of us, I've probably been the most harsh about this race, and I think it's more because of my bias that this is my favorite track, like bar none. I love Talladega, I love Chicagoland, but when it comes to racing product itself, nothing gets me more excited than going to Martinsville. So for me, I was really disappointed by it. It was better than last year's 2 races, but I mean, that's just you're walking over a buried bar at that point, especially compared to the spring race. It was way better in the spring race, but the spring race wasn't good at all. It was one of the worst races I've ever been to. As for the racing itself, I think that, they're moving the right direction. You can tell that while tires didn't make a difference in the short run, it just like last year, it took 50, 60 laps for tires to actually kind of wear and for there to be passing. And luckily, we did see a long run to the point that we had green flag pit stops. I appreciated that. When I hold Martinsville to a high bar, that's not the bar I have it at. There's been some mediocre Martinsville races. I think of the 2012 fall race as one. Oh, before the green-white checkers, the 2012 spring race, which was the last time that we had, I believe, green flag pit stops in a Martinsville race. So, like I said, I gave it like a 4 out of 10 just because I put this race high on the board, like every year. I mark my calendar for it. I mark it more than I do for Talladega. So, like I said, I'm probably a bit biased, but I was not a fan of it. There were some pros from the year before. I'm not going to be a biased fan and say everything was awful. But this is not the standard that NASCAR should look at. And I'm glad that people in the industry, like Clint Boyer, called it out. I mean, I think Clint even said, like, just straight up, this short track package sucks.
So let's talk about that really quick. So Clint Boyer said the short track package sucks. Denny Hamlin was like, oh, this is the new NASCAR, basically, in a smart ass type of way, basically. It was just hard. It was just really hard to pass. I mean, I don't blame him. I mean, he was out there all day. Looked pretty hot out there, too. I'd be frustrated, too. Any others I'm missing, or were those the 2 main ones?
I think Logano was kind of similar, critical. Then Harvick later in the week on Twitter was like asking for 1,000 horsepower as soon as possible.
The thing with Clint Boyer is that while Fox can make him act like a goofball at times, I've heard him actually talk serious about racing. And when he gets serious about it, he actually does a really good job of it. And he's someone whose opinion on short track racing I actually value a lot because he grew up as a short dirt track racer, did a lot of short track racing. In fact, actually, if you look at the majority of his wins in NASCAR, I think most of them came in short track environments too. So he's someone I put a lot of value in what he has to say about short track racing and the product that's being put out.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like, look, definitely a step in the right direction, but like, I would say a little nano baby step, or maybe just like one step if I'm going to be generous. I mean, go ahead.
I just feel like at this point, maybe somebody can prove me wrong on this. But based on what drivers have said, based on what teams have said, broadcasters, I don't see this fully getting fixed until you can fix the shifting issue. And
I wanted to bring this up because like the main 2 problems I saw on Sunday on Twitter, just scrolling through, were number 1, shifting, number 2, tires. Now for the shifting, I mean, these cars are designed to have 5 gears. I know for Dirt Bristol, they like switched it up to where it only like shifts up to 4 or something. But I mean, like, look, I don't know. Like, do you just
I don't know how they
change the ratio for that, and does it solve a problem? Because what I was noticing, drivers would like overshoot, would definitely overshoot the corners, but because you have the extra gear, you can just downshift and you're good. You're good. And tires too. That was another major one, tires. But I'm
well,
a little
the shifting. I agree. Shifting should be the first thing they try to fix. I just don't know how easy that is. Can you just? I don't know. I'm not technical enough. I don't know how that works. Can you do that? If it's easy to fix that first. Because second then should be the tires, which I know you're getting at.
Yeah.
I think they're easy fixes. If you, even without upping the horsepower, we stay at 670. If you're able to eliminate the shifting somehow, some way, that's a fix. That would help. And if you can bring a softer or maybe a groove tire, people keep throwing that word around. Up until a few weeks ago, outside of briefly in Formula One, I feel like I'd never heard of groove tires, or at least hadn't heard that phrase thrown around. So, but if that's, that sounds like it's possible right there. Those two things would fix a lot of issues. I think Hamlin on his podcast was basically like, if you can do one of these three, you can increase the horsepower significantly, softer tire that wears, or eliminate shifting. You only have to do one of those three, in Hamlin's opinion, to dramatically fix short track racing.
I would rather them go with the shifting, fix the shifting issue, because I feel like if you go with a softer tire, aren't we going to see similar problems to what we had at the beginning of last season? Because of that rim there and stuff? Or could I be overreacting a little bit?
Well, teams could, yeah. I mean, Goodyear, there's a fine line they don't want to cross that.
Yeah,
lead to more blowouts. Sure.
I was seeing counterpoints to others saying like soft tires. Like the counterpoints were like, oh well, I mean, we're just gonna have more tire issues and stuff, because we have that rim. But
I think
I don't know.
All of them together can help fix it. But I think another problem too is throttle response, and this has been a problem since they've started going down in horsepower. You saw when they went up to a 750 package, they started having better racing at these short tracks in the end of the Gen 6 era. If you especially when it comes to short tracks, you need that throttle response to be able to get off the corner to make a pass, get into the gas earlier. Martinsville, in my opinion, is probably one of the most throttle sensitive tracks of any of them. So you're going to see this problem here more than any other track. I feel like we're probably going to see a way better Bristol night race than we did last year based on what we've seen, because the speeds are higher. But when you're going from like 130 to what, 50, 60, I don't know what exactly the lowest it is in the corners is. I just, all of this together, I know I'm in probably the minority on this, and NASCAR doesn't want to do it because it would cost more money. But there has, I think, to come to a point that we need to start having different setups for different general types of tracks, whether it's setting up cars a little bit differently to be specialized. I know they don't want to do it and use, they can use your Martinsville car at Talladega this week, but Martinsville isn't Talladega. Just like a short track car won't race this, well on a dirt track. There needs to be some little bit of specialization more put into it, I think. And it has to come from NASCAR's part too, for I think the racing to respond better at specific tracks. Like you can't expect the racing at Richmond to translate in a good way to the racing at Martinsville.
Yeah, I agree. Dan, you got anything to say about that? Or?
Nothing really. I think you guys have pretty much all touched up on everything that needs to be said on it.
It's tough. Like none of us here are engineers or know exactly how to fix it.
I'm not going to pretend like I am.
We can only guess.
We're echoing. I'm just trying to echo what Dale Jr. has said, what Hamlin has said, what Elton Sawyer. I'm just echoing what the actual experts have said. I'm
pretty handy when it comes to my boats, my kayaks, all that. But don't ask me about a race car.
Yeah.
You add tires.
I just, as a fan, I like the horsepower one. I know is the long term one you can fix. And I think what was the one from Robert Yates Engines or whatever, Yates Engineering. One of them.
Yeah, Doug Yates said that they could pretty easily add 100 horsepower, he feels, without too much added cost. It would take a little bit of time maybe to.
I'm down with that.
Test it.
Down with that.
For me, with the horsepower part, I've noticed like every other motorsport series seems to be having their highest horsepower ever, and NASCAR keeps saying that manufacturers don't respond to high horsepower. And as a fan, I want it to be louder. I want to have that just power there, because
high horsepower higher horsepower is always going to be an easy sell to the fans. That's the thing. Like,
now, I don't know about 1,000 horsepower like Harvick's talking about.
Go for it, baby.
I would love it. But
I'd take 750 at this point. I'd honestly be fine with that for the time being over now.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as the package is concerned, I mean, like, what did we see for the most part? Track position mattered the most. There was I believe this was either stages 1 or 2, but Chastain, actually no, stage 2, because Chastain, I think he almost got lapped stage 1, and then stage 2 he just doesn't pit, and he's just running away from the field like it's nothing, like he has the best car. And then Todd Gilliland stayed on 2 tires. Now eventually the field caught back up to them, but what did it take, like 20-25 laps, maybe longer, something like that.
Yeah, there are a few different moments of drivers staying. I mean, look at how the race ended. You had Briscoe with 4 tires, couldn't get past Logano, and who was directly in front of Briscoe in like 3rd at the end of that race. Oh, I cannot remember now. But there were drivers who had not. Oh, Hamlin. Hamlin had not taken tires. He had stayed out. Briscoe had put 4 on. He couldn't get by. It was weird though, because then deeper in the field, Chase Elliott put 4 tires on and drove from like 20th to 10th in the final run. So there were some drivers able to pass at different points in the race. Like in the first stage, Ryan Blaney drove from like 30th to 13th without much help.
But then once he got to 13th, it took him forever to pass. Yeah, and he was like, I can't pass anymore.
It was weird. It's like whatever tires you were on, whatever setup you had, it was weird. Like Alex Bowman at one point in the first half was flying up through the field, making easy passes, and then second half race.
Jarrett was telling me like, stop fishing, watch Danny.
I was like, but then he's like,
nothing.
He like lost some track position on pit road, I think, or maybe some strategy. He was back in like 11th, and I'm thinking, well, that's 11th. He'll still move forward. He just did it, and then he didn't, and so it was just weird. It was like sun coming out, clouds cover. There seemed to be a lot of variables. Some guys could pass at certain points, but by and large, it was very difficult for sure.
Very difficult. Yeah. I mean, it was difficult for them to pass. And then you could just watching from TV. It was hard to watch sometimes, not going to lie. But I mean, Eric, before we move on, I mean, was it hard for you to watch sometimes, or did it look better?
At times, but I mean, I'll say this, unlike last year, every single time I looked up, someone was making a move on somebody. Even if it was for 30th, there was always a side-by-side. There's one side-by-side battle on track at all times. Sometimes it was just someone getting lapped. But there was always side by side, and I remember in last year's race, I want to say it was BJ or whoever was driving the 78 was trying to stay on the lead lap, and they were able to hold off William Byron for like 50 laps. And I'm like, that did not happen this time around.
You talk about side by side and people going back and forth. We had that with LaJoy and Kyle Busch back and forth a couple laps.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then LaJoy had to nudge him out the way.
I will say LaJoy went on his podcast and started saying he was intentionally going after Kyle Busch and stuff. Is he going to get a penalty?
Interesting.
NASCAR wants to be fair and all. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But
what I thought was interesting in that LaJoy clip you're talking about is he was under the impression that Kyle Busch was looking for a caution and was intentionally trying to cut his left rear down. Like he thought Busch was intentionally trying to get into LaJoy's left rear to cause a caution, like cut the tire. I'm like, damn, that's sneaky. If that was his actual intention, that is sneaky.
I just realized this. It wasn't a good weekend for both of the Bushes, right, Danny?
Oh yeah, no. Braxton Busch like had almost everything that could possibly go wrong at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway this weekend.
Welcome to the fairgrounds, buddy. Yeah, and no, it's tough. I mean, like, but also the U.S. Nationals were out there too, so like they were just wrecking every lap.
It was a lot of competition. A lot of good guys did that, but it was a lot of fun getting to see that side of the racing sport. Me and Claudia, we hung out with Nathan Lyons and his team, got to see a little bit behind the scenes of their legend cars. So it's pretty cool to catch up on all that.
Yep. And shout out to IDK doing this commentating deal.
Yep. Couldn't ever hear him, but
now don't worry, we'll get that fixed eventually. It's not his fault though. We'll get it fixed. eventually. But
that's just need an upgrade, SMI. Let's upgrade that sound system.
Yeah, SMI. We're waiting on you. But back to Martinsville. So let's get back to Stewart-Haas Racing. Overall, a very strong run. I didn't expect that, and I know for a fact none of us were expecting that. I mean, Harvick maybe, but the team as a whole, no, not even close. But then, wow, like, I mean, Mike Joy even said it on the broadcast, like, dang, like Ryan Preece is sticking up the show. Leads what, 135 laps? Something crazy like that?
I'm like 135 or something.
Yeah, like something insane. I'm like, wow. But here's the thing, though. Here's where they messed up. And this is why I'm going to cut him some slack on this, because again, they haven't been in this position in a while. So they technically got the number one stall, right? But this year they actually pushed it back. So actually in all actuality, the number one stall was the number two. Now in the good old days, in the original number one stall, you could just, go full throttle and get off the pit road, no problem. But Ryan Preece and his crew didn't realize that. I'm going to put that more on the crew chiefs, because you're in charge of box selection, right? Shouldn't you know that? Not the driver. Shouldn't you inform the driver?
I feel like in general, that's crew chief. A little bit of driver. You guys got to do your homework, I guess.
That's mostly crew chief, though, right?
When's the last time they've been up front, like consistently?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, true.
Kurt
But
Busch?
again, it's been a while. They just didn't know what to do all the way. They didn't know what to do.
Like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, but I mean, let's just talk about him for a brief moment. Eric, I had said I think they can win multiple races on short tracks alone this year. Just short tracks. Everywhere else, still a lot of work to do, but even though they didn't, get the overall result they wanted, do you think Stewart-Haas Racing is starting to go in the right direction, or is this just a fluke?
Eric Almirola looked really good at New Hampshire a couple of years ago and hasn't done shit since. So I don't know. It's one good race for sure. Optimism. I think New Hampshire in a few months. Yeah, Stewart-Haas. I'm probably going to pick a Stewart-Haas driver based on what I saw this last weekend. But I don't know. I can't help but dwell on the missed opportunity of this. Yeah, it's great that they had some speed, but to get one top five out of it with Briscoe, I believe, in fifth, and Almirola 6th, which is good.
That's what I'm saying. It's been a while.
The mistakes, the pit crew in Harvick's case, the driver or crew chief in Preece's case, and then Briscoe just put tires on in a track position race. He missed those opportunities, and with SHR. That's a bold prediction, Darian. That's why you won the hot take segment. I'm not sure they're going to get that many more opportunities to win this season. So that's a shame. I just couldn't help but think, dang, like Larson, one of y'all said this, or I think Danny maybe said it. I don't remember who said it. Larson did not have the best car in this race, yet he's in victory lane because they didn't make mistakes. Maybe it was Darian. I don't remember who said that.
It was me. I said that.
Oh wait, did you? I don't know. Maybe you said something similar. I don't know. Sorry, Danny.
Claim it if you want it, because it's probably a universal thought. So
yeah.
This is just for me with Stewart-Haas. They do this once or twice a year where all of them show up, and it's like 2018 all over again, and everyone starts asking, like you're asking for the poll, like, are they coming back? And they never do. They just get worse. Like that. It's every now and then they perform how they should, and then they don't. Harvick we know is going to be up front no matter what, even if up front is 4th to 8th. Briscoe honestly has been doing pretty serviceably so far.
Well, back-to-back top fives, right? Back-to-back top fives?
I think so.
With a broken finger.
Yeah.
Impressive.
And then there's the other two. Like Almirola, he's going to probably have one more top 10 this year. Maybe he'll have a fluke win. Preece gets collected in everyone else's stuff. So I don't really take anything from this. Yeah, they've run up front before, but they always manage to find a way to just screw it up. So until they can consistently do this, and I don't even mean lead laps, I just mean run in the top 10, get a ton of stage points, do something that shows that there's more life in you than there was the year before. I'm not going to trust them.
So right now you're saying fluke run? Is that safe to say?
I'm saying fluke run for now.
Okay.
And besides Harvick.
And the chat agrees too. 60%, but also 40% think they're on the comeback trail. So
hoping.
It's not as bad. Yeah.
I think they're not all gloom and doom like some may think. It's not like they're gonna just tank and disappear forever right now.
Wait, hold on. If they tank, do they get the number one?
They get the number one draft pick.
They get Josh Berry.
They get Zane Smith. Actually, they could.
Hey, that's good reason to tank.
They don't get Busch apparently, from what the rumors are.
Oh,
ooh, yeah. Kyle or the beer.
Go ahead, Dave.
But no, I don't think it's all gloom and doom right now. I think I'm still sticking to my prediction that I don't think Harvick wins a race in his final season, but I think we could still see somebody get a win with SHR this year.
Yeah.
I think they'll win a race. I think SHR wins a race. I think it's Harvick, and I think it's New Hampshire. I'm going to go out there and say that right now.
Now, when I say multiple, I'm talking like two. You know what I mean? Like Harvick and then maybe someone else. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. Like, you guys don't think on, with the short track package, they could steal a couple?
I'm not even looking at just short tracks. I mean, let's not keep our eye off of Ryan Preece at Nashville Super Speedway.
Oh yeah, well he has one there.
Good
Yeah.
point.
But
He has one
going off the
before.
prompt to short tracks, what's the short tracks left? Martinsville, Bristol, Richmond.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
So
only
way later in the season.
Is
You'll have
Richmond
tracks
in
that
the,
race like a short track too.
is Richmond in the playoffs?
No, it's in
Or is it-
July now.
Okay, so yeah,
It's
they
gonna be
moved it. So there's
hot.
only I think two.
Yep.
One short track before the playoffs.
Yeah, well,
Was
one before the
Richmond-
playoffs and then 2 in. Yeah, Richmond's in
Yeah.
July. Then you got the Bristol night race. For me, the way I'm seeing it is, Martinsville, I don't see, other than Harvick, a Stewart-Haas guy being in contention for a championship. I think Briscoe's run last year is very hard to replicate.
Yeah.
I would say, for me at least, I'm seeing the guys going for a championship up front at Martinsville. Or if they're the ones who aren't going for a championship, they're ones who should be that got eliminated or were around there. Bristol, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I'm looking at maybe a Kyle Busch resurgence. I'm looking at RFK, who did pretty darn good there last time. And then Richmond, are we going to just look at Harvick? Harvick's, for me, the only bullet that I can rely on if you're shooting from the hand that Stewart-Haas has.
No, it's fair. I mean, it's fair. I mean, Briscoe is improving back-to-back top fives, but again, it's only 2 races. So I want to see where we are, like 5-6 races from now, if he's still performing near that level. But ended the poll, 65% of you are saying no way SHR is not on the comeback trail, but only 35%. Also, they disagree though. Maybe it's like Jared said, hope. So we'll find out. We'll find out though. Let's move on. We're gonna move on. We already talked about the green flag stops. Basically, like it's first time since when, Jared? 2012, you said? The spring race?
2012 spring race. I remember that. I remember that really clearly.
I do too.
Because you remember our favorite guy takes the lead, and I'm like, oh man, he got the lead, and he's in.
Yeah. It
was literally like snap. Like, I'm like, wow, Junior got the lead. That's really strong. Oh, there he goes.
No, take it away. Yep.
Take
it away.
What was worse, 2012 spring or 2011 spring?
Oh, 2011 was painful.
Yeah,
2011 was painful.
Yeah, I was watching that with my late grandma, man.
I laughed at 2012. Like I was.
That's funny.
Most people say LOL when they're texting, and it's just like like that. No, I was like actually like loudly laughing at the TV at that point because it was just absurd.
You were laughing your ass off.
I was
actually laughing your ass off for real. Actually,
well, at that point I was so skinny I probably didn't even have an ass, but.
No, oh god, bro. Hey, you think I'm skinny now? You didn't see me back in the day. Trust me. No.
I know you ran cross country. I did
too.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. But speaking of the current most popular driver, hey, Chase Elliott, man, give him a round of applause. Silent round of applause. Top 10. I'll be honest, I think I had said last week that at the very least I was expecting a top 10 finish. As far as where he would run, I was expecting mostly top 15 because it was his first race back. I mean, I know Martinsville is the track he's won at. He's done pretty well at in general. But the problem is that he missed 6 races. It's going to take some time. But really, that team showed me a lot in the final, in the closing laps. I mean, they were like outside the top 20. And then, they had some cautions fall their way, but all of a sudden they got the car just right enough for Chase Elliott to finally pick some guys off towards the end there, to showcase his talents. Also, a really cool picture was taken after the race too of Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, and Bubba Wallace all just talking. Yep. So somebody should like frame that or something like that too. That'd be a pretty cool picture to get into the sign.
Frame it and then randomly put it in a thrift store.
Oh. Wait, so really quick. Bubba Wallace's wedding picture was in a thrift store for some reason, in one of those like
for sale.
It was for sale
for $4.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't see that, Eric? Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't see that. Was that on Twitter or something?
Yeah.
I'll find it and send it back in our chat.
Yeah, but Bubba was funny. He was like, "Well, now $350 and we have a deal, not $4." So that's gonna look too much.
That's so random.
That was funny. Yeah, but back to the race though. Chase Elliott, props to him, top 10. I'm saying that. Give it until like around the Coke 600, then I think he'll be like 100% good to go, and that's when I think we'll see a different Chase Elliott. Like I don't want to go as far as to say Kyle Busch 2015 yet. I don't want to go as far as to say that. We got to see some more, but it did take Kyle Busch a while though. It took him a while though too.
But for me, I just because it's so early in the season, just like then, and just like how I felt about then, I just, at this point, you don't know really what to expect yet. You know that Chase Elliott, year in and year out, has always been a playoff driver. He's never missed. Always been top 10 in points. So he's been really consistent when it matters too. For me, it's just this 9 team so far this year. I can't gauge how well they've run because you're running with 3 different drivers in a weird circumstance. I'm not hitting the panic button. I'm not even close to doing that. I want to see a few races of Chase Elliott being Chase Elliott, running up front, getting stage points, leading laps, doing his thing. Hey, it's Talladega. He's pretty good there. I think he did pretty well last time we were there. So.
Oh yeah, that was an awesome race, by the way. No BS cautions or whatever. That was cool. Straight up racing. Liked it. But Eric,
I think Chase Elliott. I don't think I need to see much. I think he's going to be in contention to win this weekend. I think he'll be in contention to win Dover. I think he'll be in contention to win Kansas. I think he's going to run like top 5, top 10 the next 3, 4, 5 weeks through the Coke 600 at least. I don't know what comes after the Coke 600. He'll probably run top 5, top 10 there.
Unless Chastain gets in the way at Gateway.
Oh yeah, Gateway is a little bit of a weird track. So, but I just think like Chase Elliott, I worry maybe he rushed himself back a little because this next run of racetracks is so good for him. Martinsville, Dega, Dover, man, with Hendrick, my gosh. But he seemed fine. He ran all 400 laps. I mean, yeah, he looked exhausted afterwards, but he's just building back that muscle. I don't know if there's like a lot of pain. I didn't really hear him complain about pain at any point this weekend. It's just working those muscles back in. He's got weeks to do that. I think he's 95% right now, and it's really just going to come down to kind of like you said, Jarrett. How good is Alan Gustafson and that 9 team? Mm-hmm. Yeah. The rest of Hendrick looks pretty good, so I have a feeling Gustafson and Chase Elliott are going to hit the ground running pretty fast.
I know when I broke my leg, and having to get back into the groove of doing stuff with like football. Luckily, I guess if you can be lucky in breaking a leg, I did mine well before the season, but you do lose a lot of that muscle mass. You had the muscle memory, but it takes a lot to get back. But I mean, I'm trying to remember the exact timeline. I know I was ahead of schedule because I followed everything the doctor told me to. But if I remember right, I was out of the cast, out of the boot by May, and I was within a month back to normal. And this was playing football, which no disrespect to NASCAR drivers, but getting tackled by on your legs, I think does a little more on the play-by-play, lap-by-lap, whatever by whatever basis. So I think it'll take maybe a week or 2, get back in the groove of things, maybe be on the sim a little bit. But like I said, I think he'll be fine. And I wasn't saying that to like saying I'm raising alarm bells. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Looking at how far back he is in points and the fact that if he gets stage points and runs up front, I'm not going to rule out with how inconsistent this field has been so far, him making up enough points to still be in that conversation. I know it's like, I think 132 back or 130 back.
I could see him making that up. I could.
Actually, it's coming across the ticker right now. 130 back, and there's how many races left? 17. So he would have to make up 7 to 8 points a race on who's 16th right now? Briscoe?
So
yeah, I believe it's Briscoe.
So just run top 5 of a race. You got this, Chase. Go get it.
Run like you normally do.
Yeah, there you go. Just run like normal. But
I think Elliott will get a win. I don't know where it'll be, but I think he'll get a win at some point this season.
Yeah. Well, the chat agrees. I mean, I'd put kind of a funny poll. I was like, how many wins does Chase Elliott get in his return? 5% say 0. Wow. And then 78% are saying in the 1 to 3 range. 15% in the 4 to 8. And then only we actually have 2% in the 9+ range. I don't know about that. Would be crazy.
9 for 9.
yeah, that'd be crazy if he gets 9+ or 9 or more wins there. But no, that'd be insane for sure.
By the way, it was Busher in 16. Not Briscoe's 15.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Easier.
But but I think that about covers it for everything in the race. But I wanted to go over the top 10 just one final time really quick. I feel like I've been doing that almost every show. Kyle Larson obviously gets the win. Joey Logano in second, but Joey Logano ran like dog water the entire day.
I think I
And
saw it might have been Dustin Long or somebody like tweeted that was the worst average running position for a second place finisher. I don't know about ever,
Yeah.
but maybe like since they started tracking that stat, something like that.
Yeah,
I was
like,
listening to it on MRN and I heard them say Logano has done horrible. He's going a lap down, and all of a sudden it's like, wait, he's going to finish second.
yeah, I was
Caught
confused.
that caution.
But also, he wasn't
Just
the
our
only
track
one, though.
racing.
He wasn't the
You
only
never
one,
know,
though,
fellas.
because Martin Truex Jr. finished third, and he ran like dog water a lot.
Yes, he did. He did.
Yeah, and Denny Hamlin fourth. Chase Briscoe with the broken finger rounds out the top 5, and he has that fixed now, correct? He has
He
that
did. He
fixed.
went
It's
got
it's
surgery
this
on it.
one though, by the way, isn't it?
Oh, that one. Oh, which one is it?
Middle
Which one?
finger.
Oh, okay. Oh.
I'm like trying not to flip off the camera,
Well,
but
I actually broke this one. Somebody clip that. I was like, wait, this.
wait, that,
Oh, but
Yeah, which finger did you break? Oh, this one.
that'll be a great one to put out onto Twitter.
yes,
NASCAR
please, do your
YouTube
thing.
flips off over 450 people.
We'll flip it off the audience. For over 450. Make sure to click the like button, everybody. But P6, Eric Almirola. P7, Ryan Blaney. P8, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. P9, Bubba Wallace, and rounding out the top 10 is Chase Elliott. Now, in 8th and 9th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., I mean, he has the win, but, I mean, he did say he wants to run well every race, though, even though he does have the win. So good signs. And then Bubba Wallace had a very up and down day, too. Like, he was, like, a lap down at one point, and then he even bumped Denny Hamlin. His car, I'm like, what is this? Like, Hamlin was in the lead, and, like, I know you don't want to get lapped, but it's like, you're not going to pass him again. Like, I don't know what the point of that was, to be honest with you. But
Yeah, it sounded like Hamlin kind of laughed it off a little bit on his podcast. But I was watching that thinking like,
okay.
I say, wait, I saw him hit him once, and I said that's something. He hit him 2 or 3 more times.
And I guess before we move on to the ratings too, one final thing. What was the deal with that tire? I almost forgot. What was the deal with that tire? NASCAR just didn't see it.
Funniest part. Well, so the way they explained it is that NASCAR couldn't see it from the tower, and they don't look at the TV at all. And and at first I was like, I don't believe that. But then thinking about back on the broadcast, their camera right at it, and Clint Boyer, I don't see it. Where's it at? And I'm like, Clint, see, this is why
Clint,
they cut
stop
your
playing
mic
the role.
earlier.
Stop playing the role.
This is why they cut your mic earlier, Clint. Which halfway through one of the runs, Clint's like, "Yeah, you see a lot of track position in it."
Yeah. It was like, that's enough. That's enough for you
It was
today.
just funny.
It's like, hey,
Did
remember
Bobby
when,
Labonte get a word in?
Yeah, but I don't know. But I kind of forgot he was there. Like, I don't know. Like, he's obviously a Hall of Famer. But as far as him in the broadcast booth, I don't know. I really didn't I wasn't really feeling him too much. I could be in the minority.
I mean, I heard a decent amount of the TV broadcast, and I just feel like I didn't really hear him talk that much. After sitting on it, I was like, did I hear from Labonte today?
Did I hear from him? Oh man, but no, Martinsville, very interesting weekend. We'll see what happens in the future as far as the package stuff is concerned, the racing, that sort of thing. Hopefully it gets fixed ASAP. But Jarrett, for the first time in the 2023 season, I think we have some positive news as far as the ratings are concerned, correct?
I swear I'm gonna try and not rain on everyone's parade with every little bit of looking into everything, because they're actually.
You gotta tell us the truth. You gotta tell us the truth, though.
There's actually positives that are like objectively positive. You know, looking past even the Cup race, but this race got 1.26 in the rating department and 2.218 million viewers, so up 14% in ratings, up 18% in viewership. Now, the key demo had 392,000, which is 17% of the audience. So, I'm just going to say now, this race should have been up from last year. This race last year was a rain-delayed Saturday night race. I believe Cindy Yen on Twitter does the breakdowns, and she did a breakdown of it and showed that actually, when you adjust, it would probably be like a 3 to 4% down, but basically around the same level, which, to be real, is a lot better than a lot of races have been doing. Breaking down the numbers a little more, the key demo was actually down 3% in total audience between 18 and 49 from last year. Even though last year's had under 2 million viewers, it had 401,000 in the key demo to this year's 392. So not great there. And then looking at the last comparable races for the most part. It was down 3% from 21 and 10% from 19, though 19 is an outlier. The Xfinity race is where my interest peaks. The Xfinity race, which didn't have a rain delay, which didn't have anybody coming back that would move the needle, which didn't have anything really that different from last year, was up 5% from 2022 with almost 900,000 total viewers, which for a Saturday night Xfinity race is pretty good.
Yeah.
The rain-delayed truck had a 24% decrease from last year with only 347,000 watching. So to put it in perspective, more people between the ages of 18 to 49 watched the Cup race than total viewers of the truck race.
Wow.
That's rough.
Yeah, that is rough. That is very rough. I mean, Xfinity being up 5%, very good. I mean, but what does that tell you though, Jarrett? What does that tell you?
More audience,
Xfinity,
man.
yeah.
More audiences. I feel like my theory, until it's completely busted and proven wrong, I think that my theory of the core audience being there more, and the casual audience having eroded further, I think that's the way it's looking for now.
Yeah.
I agree. I actually think that's a really good theory. I just get concerned that 18 to 49 demo. How the hell? I didn't see that until now. How in the hell did we lose total viewers in the 18 to 49 demo from between a Saturday night? I'm so bad talking now, whatever. But from a Saturday night race to a Sunday afternoon race, Chase Elliott is back, a young driver. How in the frick did we lose 18 to 49 viewers? I don't want to, we could talk for hours. We do this every few weeks about what NASCAR needs to do better, but like, holy damn.
Well,
like that's just, oh,
it's brutal.
And honestly, you really can't blame NASCAR for not doing anything, because earlier in the week, not only were they running these freaking Chase Elliott ads everywhere, even on YouTube. Chase Elliott was on the freaking Pat McAfee show in front of 32,000
exactly. So how did we
viewers.
Lose young viewers? That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know. It's depressing. It is depressing.
Mm-hmm.
What I look at with it is, I don't think marketing your most popular driver is wrong. I think you should do that. What you should also do is market the others, because if Kyle Larson, well, maybe that's not the best example to use. Ryan Blaney. If Ryan Blaney were coming back, they probably would only have a brief mention of it. And in my opinion, Ryan Blaney, even with a kind of a drier sense of humor, is still somebody who's really good to put out there when it comes to personality. He's a really good driver out there. And you wouldn't have that same push. And I think a lot of different drivers are like that. They need to push more drivers than just the most popular driver. They didn't learn this with Dale Jr. for 20 years. Hey, you can't just push one driver to be the needle of your sport, and then, oh crap, he's gone. What do we do now?
Yeah, what do you do?
You would think maybe 2012, when he was out for 2 races. That's kind of weird. We saw a bit of a tick down. Maybe we need to do something different. Nothing. 2016, misses half the damn season. Maybe we should do something different. Nah, don't worry about it. Just put some Flex Seal on it. Okay. 2018, he's gone. We're down like 20%. Nah, we'll just hey, let's just get on with Chase Elliott. Ride
business
Chase Elliott
as usual. Ride his coattails.
And I'm not saying that a bad thing about Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott will get those core fans, those NASCAR fans. Who's going to be the Jeff Gordon? Dale Jr. got the core fans, but I think Jeff Gordon had to further reach the fans outside of core fans. Who's going to be that Jeff Gordon you get next? I know Jeff Gordon's a once-in-a-generation guy, but you can have multiple people fill that role.
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, it is. I feel like Chase Elliott, it's like what this proves is Chase Elliott hasn't actually attracted any younger fans. It's just the Bill Elliott, Jeff Gordon fans that have hung around. That's what it feels like. I'm sure there's some people probably watching or listening to us that have gotten into the sport in the last few years. Yeah,
younger. Eric, tread lightly, Eric.
Careful,
tread lightly.
Icarus, careful.
I've seen plenty of younger Chase Elliott fans.
Oh, I'm sure there's some, but I'm telling you, it just tells me that the vast majority of his audience are the old school fans. They're Bill Elliott and Jeff Gordon fans.
Yeah. How junior fans for a lot of the time were. I mean,
it's just that's the problem. The problem is that you have a 20-something-year-old championship caliber driver with recognizable sponsors. He's an attractive guy, and he's not moving the young fan needle in a significant way. He's not bringing in the young fans. Like, holy shit, that's a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, Eric, now I got to ask you this: what other drivers do you find attractive?
Yeah.
I'm just
okay.
Yeah.
I know.
How many attractive men do we have racing in NASCAR, Eric? This is what people want to know about.
I think there's a few that don't cut it out. I think there's Brian Blaney, great example.
I know we're kind of
You want
making
me
a
to keep
joke out of
going?
it. I know we're kind of making a joke out of it, but
Yeah.
you can interpret it in different ways. And I know I'm going to read too far into the joke. I don't care.
Yeah.
Because attractive can go for different ways. You can be
Right.
physically attractive, but you can also be attractive to a sponsor by how you perform. You can be attractive to new fans by different things you do. I keep going back to it. The fact that most people outside of NASCAR don't know a damn thing about Ross Chastain unless you pull up a like 12-second clip and they can't name him, that proves you need to change something in the marketing department.
Yeah.
The fact that I decided to, anytime I really talk about NASCAR with anyone, I want to bring up Ross Chastain without bringing up the Hail Melon to see how many people know who he is. And outside of somebody who I met at one point who was like, oh yeah, my brother watches NASCAR, so yeah, I know who Ross Chastain is. Anyone who has no connection to NASCAR doesn't know who he is. People outside of NASCAR, a lot of them, especially younger people, are not going to know who some guy who is nearly in his 50s and is grumpy all the time is in Kevin Harvick. They're not going to know who he is. That is NASCAR's fault. You failed in marketing some of your best drivers ever.
Well, I don't want to put it all on NASCAR. I think the drivers and the teams fail miserably at marketing themselves more times.
Yeah, to some extent. Yeah,
I just think they do. So many drivers' reluctance to be on social media, reluctance to go out in front of the cameras more often, and I think Chase Elliott doing the Pat McAfee show is great.
Yes.
More of that. It's awesome that he had Chase Elliott on. I'm sure NASCAR pulled some strings there, no doubt. So I give NASCAR credit. Honestly, NASCAR probably drove that. I doubt that was Hendrick Motorsports or Chase Elliott taking that initiative. And that's the problem. I just feel like the drivers themselves don't seem to care enough about it. Too many of them don't realize that their job is more than a race car driver, whether they like to admit it or not, that their job is much more than that.
I have a question though. How many of you guys watched it live?
I did.
Okay.
McAfee? Oh, I didn't watch it live.
Danny, do you watch it?
I was
live?
out. I was driving. I briefly, as a gas station, checked on it.
I was busy with work, so I went back and watched it the next day.
Okay, Darian, did you watch anything after?
No.
I did. Within a minute of Elliott being off the air, they were dissing on the playoffs, dissing on stage racing, talking just basically I'm not going to watch it with that stage crap. Screw this. I'm not going to do that. What message?
Wait, does Pat McAfee watch NASCAR?
He has
he's aware of it a little.
No.
Hold on,
Continue.
He has 10 people in there, and as soon as they get off the air with Chase, he's like, Chase Elliott, nice guy, really good. Hope he gets a win. Blah 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 blah. What do you guys think? Well, I'm not watching this. I want to watch the stage race. What does that send immediately? And yes, I know that's the brand, right?
I know,
but at that point, so you're live in front of 50,000 people, probably all under the age of 30, and all they hear is, "Oh, we just had this guy on. We pretty much had him on because he's famous, and this sport's really kind of dumb." I mean,
that's pretty bad. I didn't
even see that. Yeah.
See, it's right after they start going about.
I only got to watch the actual clip they posted. I didn't watch the live stream.
No, because I caught it live about 10 minutes after it ended, and I rewound it, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool, And Chase Elliott.
Catch.
Well, and Chase Elliott is people get on Chase Elliott for being vanilla, is what they say. In my opinion, I think he has a lot of personality in what he says. It's just he delivers it in that kind of I won't say
howdy
monotone.
doody. Howdy doody type.
But people always be like, "Oh, he's so monotone. It's like listening to a robot." Blah blah blah.
That's basically Bill Elliott, though, right? Wasn't that Bill
Bobby
Elliott?
Labonte. That's Terry Labonte. Their drivers have personality in that. Chase Elliott has personality, and I think he had plenty of personality on there. He was having fun. He was laughing, joking with Pat McAfee. I just
I'll say this: as much personality as he has today, and Jarrett might agree with me on this. At certain points in Dale Jr.'s career, I felt like he was the most monotone, often stuttered a lot in what he said. He's worse than I am right now talking at times.
Oh, Dale Jr. if you watch a lot of his interviews, especially at the track in the early 2000s, yeah, the car's really good and all. I think Budweiser and this and this, and yeah, it was pretty. Well, Dale, how was it out there? Yeah, it was good. It's similar with Chase Elliott. Junior really didn't come out of his shell and honestly be fun to listen to in an interview
Until he got his own thing.
Well, I would say like the early Hendrick years, late DEI years is when he started to.
Yeah, but then 2014 it really took off with like social media and stuff. He finally got on there.
Well, yeah, because at that point he became the old guy who didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
I know that the drivers have to take accountability for themselves with it, and I understand that. I look back at what NASCAR did when it came to signing with big brands and then getting stuff for their drivers, working with the teams. And at this point, it just sort of feels like we're just going to go and do the same thing over and over and over again that we've done for the last 15 years, and eventually it'll work, right? It frustrates me. It frustrates me that when I was a kid, I could go down the road and see, whoever the hell was in the 4 car, in the Kodak car. Like, I think at that point it would have been Travis Quapple. And
2005. Yeah.
And I'm seeing him on billboards running 35th every week.
That's crazy.
And now I can't go up to where I used to live up in Illinois and probably even see one NASCAR driver on anything unless it's Dale Jr. or Jeff Gordon. It frustrates me. But
we're tired of it.
But I can see like 7 or 6, or 8 or whatever F1 drivers everywhere. I can see, like, I forgot what it was. I think I saw WNBA, like one of their players at a gas station when I stopped. It's WNBA. But we can't get a NASCAR driver there unless it's Love's because of a sponsor.
Yeah, hard times for sure. But definitely they got to change the philosophy of how to market their drivers. I mean, we can preach and preach, but they gotta listen eventually. So, but hey, good, excellent conversation on that. And we are just at the top of the hour. But before we get into the final 2 races, we have the poll, the famous iceberg poll. Did my mic cut out?
You just went muffled.
Oh man, I'm close. I'm close to getting it consistently right. It's been years, but I'm close this time, I promise. But Jarrett, go for the poll.
It's gonna be a great section of the show because like we go from poll straight into super chats right after this. So there's plenty of fun with what you guys are saying. But I asked, what did you think of the 2023 NOCO 400? And I was surprised. I will say the first hour or so, like, the net positivity was over 75%, and I was genuinely shocked.
Wow.
It did go down though over time. So 8% said this is a great race, 46% said good, so 54% net positive, which for our very positive voters is low. 29% average, 11 below average, 5 bad, so 16% said it was net negative. The first comment was from MVR owner. So positive, negative, or meme?
Positive.
Payne is a Logano fan, but he was irrelevant all race. I'd say solid race, and I'm glad it's a 400-mile race instead of 500. And then edit. LOL, did anyone else see the post-race where Larson's crew accidentally dropped the clock?
Oh, they did? I didn't see that.
And then
oh god.
Edit 2. Is it just me or does Chase Elliott look like Ryan Blaney without a mullet?
My question is, why were the Larson crew guys where were they taking the clock? Like, does the clock ever get picked up? Doesn't it usually just like sit there and look cool?
I saw before the race they were like sort of wheeling it around.
Yeah, they probably have like a little wagon or something for it. I don't know.
The fact they dropped it though, that's funny.
They were talking about one of the clocks. I don't know if it was for the Cup race, but one of the clocks like was made by this student group. I'm like, so did like some woodwork class in high school make one of these? Because if so, they deserve a freaking A.
Imagine like it just falls apart. Like, yep, the students definitely worked on that.
Looking at the comments here, NASCAR Sam got the top voted one, saying this race was definitely better than last year's, but still feels like a far cry from Gen 6 Martinsville.
Yeah,
fair.
Yeah, I agree.
Johnny says, that's just his name, Johnny.
Hi, Johnny.
Hi, Johnny.
Says Martinsville is such a great track. We'll be there for the fall race. Can't wait.
Hey, wow. Right. Hey, wow. Hey, he's still in love with it. Still in love with it.
Wolfeon 0617 says, very impressive for Stewart-Haas not to suck.
Finally, right? It was a long time coming. definitely.
I feel like you shouldn't have to brag about that though.
Yeah.
Oh no, we suck again.
again.
Looking a little further down, Vincent says not the best first half, but the second half was good. Didn't see Chase coming back for a top 10 after how he'd been all day. That was impressive. Congrats to Larson.
Very impressive.
Another one here. Harvick may be the unluckiest driver in the sport. Doesn't help that his crew isn't doing him any favors.
I mean, didn't they get it was on, but then there was some type of malfunction, right? I don't remember, but basically the wheel was all messed up. So they got it on, but it must have not been on all the way.
I think it was something like that, and it ended up like bending, or
Yeah.
it was similar to whatever happened to Almirola at Phoenix a
Yeah.
few weeks ago. But didn't go quite as far.
Basically, it didn't come off, so the crew stays intact. There won't be a 2-week or 4-week vacation.
I'm gonna read this one, even if I don't necessarily agree with it, just so that I can maybe troll a stray David Land out there.
Oh, okay.
Sparky T88 says, still watching the replay, but so far much more interesting than IndyCar this week.
Oh
wow! I was thinking the opposite. I don't know. I like the strategy and stuff. By the way, shout out to Kyle Kirkwood, first career IndyCar victory in the Long Beach Grand Prix. That's pretty big.
Good day for Kyle's.
Yeah.
Looking further down, Josh says on a positive note, Talladega should be good to decent at the very least. Maximo says Clean Air 400 better than last year, but still not what it's supposed to be. Peace.
Mm-hmm.
That's just peace sign.
Not what it's supposed to be. That's what I'm gonna start saying about things that
not what it's supposed to be.
that fall below my expectations. That's not what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's not what it's supposed to be. Looking at the last comments here, I think I can read them.
The gutters.
I think I can read the gutter comments, but
nice.
I can. Okay. So the third lowest is from the Sloth Nerd, and it is so tired of Hendrick. So tired of them.
Damn. Hey,
We'll take a nap.
Yeah, they got haters.
I don't know how to read this, but I'm just gonna call you Desk. A terrible, horrifically boring race. Okay.
Horrifyingly boring.
That was low? Damn, I'm surprised that wasn't high.
I told you our commenters are very positive.
Yeah, very indeed.
And I don't know how the hell to read this last one's name, so I'm just not going to do it. But again, these are not my comments. Just prefacing this with that. His comment is NASCAR is so trash, just late cautions that lead to drivers who win only because of late cautions. I like Larson, but NASCAR races are so far from pure racing.
Well, yeah, I agree with the last part. Yeah. I mean, like, what was the last caution? When was the last caution? Like 30 to go, maybe? Something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah.
What would you consider to be the most pure form of racing?
Roller derby.
To me, I like that. I was going to say the 100-yard dash.
Yeah, like track it. Well, actually, hold on. No, not track and field, because people be juicing in that sport. So I don't know about that. Yeah. Remember, I don't know about
marathon running.
Well, yeah.
Man, you really can't do too much juicing because it affects your heart. And I'm just telling you now, running 2 hours.
You got to be able to go long term.
Well, yeah. 2 hours. Well, plus, like, when you look at like those like Ethiopians that win the marathons and stuff, they are like, when I thought I was a twig as a kid, like there was a dude who was like 99 pounds and 6'4". I was like, how do you stand?
From Kenya or some shit like that.
Basically, think of it, if you're juicing for a marathon, think of it like you're taking an NHRA engine to a NASCAR race and expecting that to work for the whole entirety of it.
I like that analogy.
I'm going to be fast for the first quarter mile, and we're just going to coast the rest of the way.
Oh my gosh. You know what? That sums up my marathon in a nutshell. Yeah, I brought the NHRA engine. It's just I coasted it the rest of the way home. Oh my gosh.
It's all right. I brought the 500-mile engine to the 600-mile race. So,
hey, we finished though. That's all that counts. But is that it for the poll?
That's it.
And once again, that'll do it for this edition of the famous Iceberg Poll on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. And really quick, sorry, Eric, I forgot. Don't worry, I'm about to get to Super Chats. I know we said the top of the hour, but I wanted to get through the poll first. I wanted to get through his poll first. But you know what? We're at the top of the hour. and adding an extra 10 minutes in. So, we're there. We're in the zip code, basically, in the area code. But I'm about to read off some super chats and channel member chats. And as soon as I start, just start the timer.
I got you.
NASCAR's on 2414. I've never heard of that channel. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. What is channel 2414? But no, I'm just kidding. But thank you so much, NASCAR's on 2414 for the $5 super chat. Will you guys be at races in May? I'll be at Kansas and North Wilkesboro. Also, I'll be at the Indy 500. Oh, hold on, gotta scroll over. And you should all try if you've never done it. So, I mean, I got some stuff lined up. I'll be at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway tomorrow for testing, at least.
I'll be at Kansas. Talladega. I'll be at Kansas and Wilkesboro.
Yeah.
I'll be at Darlington. Wilkesboro.
I'll be at Darlington
and Darlington and Darlington too.
We all may be at Darlington.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Danny?
Yeah, I'll be at Darlington.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, I just wanted to confirm.
So such a contrast.
Darlington, then Nashville. I was thinking about Gateway, but probably not going to that one now.
Yeah. Isaac with the $5 super chat. Because these two said McDowell supremacy for my mom's birthday last week, for Need for Speed, Ty Dillon supremacy, and for Spencer Purcell, Sieg supremacy. Oh, so he was like, I guess his friends asked him to send a super chat and to say like, hey, to say the, Sieg supremacy, Ty Dillon supremacy. Well, very interesting indeed. Thank you so much. Jimmy, thank you so much for becoming an official channel member. Spencer Purcell with the channel member chat. Fantasy lineup's gonna be chaos this weekend. Absolutely. And Spencer's been a channel member for 22 months. Thank you so much. And again, Eric W, thank you so much once again for the 20 BFM channel memberships gifted. Jimmy with another super chat, this time $10. Hi guys, that was a good race because there was a lot of different strategies throughout the race. Also, good job, Jarrett, for broadcasting the NR Cup series from last night. Absolutely. It was one of the greatest iRaces I've ever seen. And Demos is him. 100%. Hunter Nixon Fishing with the $10 super chat. Great to see my guy Harvick still elite in his final year. Should have won Phoenix, and you could argue Martinsville. The 4 is fast most every weekend. Absolutely. Now, can Stewart-Haas Racing as a whole catch up? To be determined. Blake with the $2 super chat. Watching on my birthday today. Let's go. Well, let's go. Happy birthday to you, Blake. Happy birthday, bro. Hope you are enjoying the special day of yours. NASCAR _Bluey _ Taco Box 924 at the $5 super chat. Very interesting name. Loving the names. I don't know if this is an issue, but with Fox News lawsuit of just over 700 plus million, would it affect any sports coverage of Fox Sports? Would we see more commercials?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I doubt it. I didn't even hear about that, but yeah.
Don't give them excuses.
That's going to be 2 separate categories of business. They won't.
Yeah,
they won't
that's
be
3.
with each other.
Yeah, and just one final one. I saw Michael had sent this. I wanted to say this. Thank you so much, Roots, for the $2 super chat. Thank you, Race Day, for putting my big head on TV. Yeah, he was on Race Day, and the funniest
I caught a glimpse of that.
Yeah, but the funniest part was they edited it. They edited his reaction to where he was like on Instagram Live in front of 1.4 thousand people. I'm like, what? Like what?
Yeah, I thought that was weird to do that.
Yeah, like just keep his stream up. I mean, I don't know, like, but damn, like, okay.
We must not give advertising to anyone else.
Yeah, very, very random indeed, but that was cool seeing him on there. But thank you. And yeah, that'll conclude this edition. The first half of the super chat segment on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast, or excuse me, the super chat stage break. Gotta remember the names exactly. But before we move on, we got to get through these 2 races. That should be relatively quick though. Xfinity, I didn't watch that. I was at the fairgrounds working with IDK. So what did you guys think of the race?
Let's best race of the weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very good. I mean, other than, Nemechek was really strong. The Gibbs cars were really fast once again. We were talking before the stream. JRM was kind of off once more, minus Josh Berry, who put himself behind early, but he charged through the field late. He was fun to watch. So it was a good race. Which that felt more like Martinsville.
All that went through my head with the burnout was that Richard Petty quote: "Get the fire extinguisher. Get the fire extinguisher."
We should make it mandatory for every burnout celebration. Every driver should be required to burn down their car, literally, for every.
That was the best sponsored plug.
Makes me wonder, are they going to start, restricting what you can and can't do when they have those mud flaps on it? Because that seems to be the common denominator there.
I feel like that's up to the teams. The teams should really fix that, though. I feel like, I mean, like if you don't want it to catch on fire, maybe like I don't know, like change up the way they're set up or something. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how you fix it, but
I hope they don't. I hope they don't put a rule in place like no burnouts when we have them, because then you're.
That's lame. Yeah, that's lame, bro. And then what else happened? Oh yeah, Sam Mayer has like one of the longest middle fingers I've ever seen in my life. That was long, bro. Like, but hey, it was totally understandable because who dumped him? Who dumped him again?
Oh, it was. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Oh, Ryan Truex. Yeah,
yep,
Ryan
it was
Truex
Truex.
dumped him.
Yeah,
dumped him and Riley.
It was another JGR car dumped him, resulting in also the other Monster Energy car being took out. So the irony from last year.
Yeah,
so you're saying this is him flipping him off? Like,
basically, yeah, that's what it looked like from the screenshots. Yeah, I was like, damn. Hey, don't put that out too often, otherwise it'll just fall off or something. I don't know. The wind might take it or something. I don't know. It was that long, man. But okay. Yeah. John Hunter Nemechek scores the victory, burns the house down. Not much to really say about that.
Solid. It was just a solid race.
It was a solid race. I wish I could have watched it because the race I watched the night before, oh my gosh, the Truck Series race, a total mess. Basically only we were half and half, basically this race was a nice sweet Arnold Palmer, half and half, right? But 62 laps green and then 62 laps yellow, and it was a very interesting race, just off the fact that they brought out the supposed rain tires, but then in reality, they're actually really damp tires. Eric, do you want to explain that a little bit more for those who may not?
Yeah, I mean, they called them the wet weather tires, but a lot of people kind of just slang would call them rain tires. And then when they wouldn't use them in the rain, I think it resulted in a lot of frustration and confusion and irritation. For the first time using wet weather tires on an oval in competition, I think they handled it pretty well. Yeah, the track was really dry when they put them on at the beginning, but it was you're dipping your toe into this new experiment. It was fine. You didn't want to turn it into a joke, and I don't think you did. But to end the race due to a light rain with not much, really wasn't really any standing water on the track, it begs the question, well, then why are there mud flaps and windshield wipers on these trucks or cars if you're not going to race in those conditions? So it didn't like how it ended, but yeah, there's a ton of reasons it sounded like as to why. I saw things on Twitter. There were smaller teams that had only bought one set of tires because, it's $2,400 apparently for a set of these tires. That's a pretty huge chunk of some of these smaller truck teams' budgets. They didn't, NASCAR maybe after the fact was like, well, shoot, we don't want to make all the teams put them back on.
Well, some were tweeting. They were pissed. Yeah,
some were really upset. Yeah. I think the easy solution is just do what you do on road courses. NASCAR doesn't dictate what tires you put on. The teams do. Teams can decide, do we want to put on slicks and risk it, or do we want to put on rain tires and hope they don't burn off too fast? Just let the teams decide. And if those smaller budget teams if all they had to put on their trucks were their slick tires, then they'll just, try to meet minimum speed, or maybe they'll park it. It is what it is.
I think the big problem with this is that it was marketed as, we're going to race in the rain tires, rain. Rain was the word we used. These should be called moist tires. Because
damp but mostly dry, because that's what they used them for.
I just think it was the way they marketed it, and I saw one of the quotes from a spotter or somebody, or maybe somebody like a crew chief, who was like, why are we going out there at this point and then doing this and then not racing? And it's like, yeah, we're just doing so TV can pat themselves on the back. And that's really what it felt like, because the whole time it's just Michael Waltrip, this is the greatest racing ever.
Yeah, I like this racing, y'all.
Look how amazing it is.
He was like,
Eric,
he's like, this is groundbreaking for our sport. All right, this is
Eric, don't act like you're surprised to hear this. It's Michael Waltrip.
Damn, I think I caught you off guard, Eric.
I didn't expect that. that was a hell of an impression.
Oh man! But you know what? That was a major.
Wait. All right. Jared, can you give me an impression of Michael Waltrip after winning the 2003 Daytona 500?
Very important to say. Oh, it's the most amazing thing. It's green. Yeah, it's raining. Wow. Daryl, one other.
You can't ever go wrong memeing Mikey. And he hasn't raced in years. This is funny. That's the funniest part about it. But while the tire situation was a major storyline, I gotta ask y'all this. What's happening with Carson Hocevar? Like he keeps doing he keeps doing all of this, excuse my language, dumb shit. So Eric, I mean, like, this is like the third or fourth time he's done something, right? You go back to last year, the Vegas spin, manufacturing a caution, the same thing at Talladega, and then he IRP, right, hooked Howard, Kobe Howard, I think that's his name, Kobe Howard. And yeah, now you have this with I believe it was Taylor Gray. Now at first I was going to give him the benefit of the doubt because it looked like his tire went flat, and while it did go flat before, though, it looked like he was, it was sort of aiming for him there. And not only does the fan base call him out, but even like spotters and even Denny Hamlin's like, yeah, he's been getting away with this stuff for too long now.
Tweeted,
Denny Hamlin puts himself everywhere now. I'm just gonna say that.
He's the center of every conversation. Yeah. He tweeted out, "What is wrong with that kid?"
Yeah. Because at first I was seeing some people like, oh no, he just blew a tire. But then as soon as he saw more replays, it's like, And then once NASCAR gave him the 2-lap penalty, that was it.
Might be an obscure reference. Maybe it's not actually really popular. So I used to watch Avatar: The Last Airbender as a kid, and there's a flashback episode showing Zuko and Azula's childhood upbringing, and Azula is a horrible tyrant, all this stuff. She runs out of the room, and her own mother just goes, "What is wrong with that child?" And that's all I could think of when I read that tweet. Someone should edit that. They should edit him doing the pit maneuver, and then just have Zuko's mom going, "What is wrong with that child?"
I mean, because look, Hocevar, I'm getting the sense that he's going from one of these young potential prospects that fans are hopeful for to now he's like being viewed more as a clown driver on the track. I mean, Eric, am I overreacting there, or am I?
He doesn't. Point? No, I mean, I think he's going down that route. I think you're on point on that respect. He certainly has the respect of some in the industry, but he's obviously losing the respect of many others. And I just, I had him on, on my channel a few weeks ago, and you could tell he's really focused this year. He expects a lot of himself. He expects to be in the championship conversation. He expects to win races this year, and he's got one, but it's still clear that he's prone to losing focus. Mm-hmm. I gave him the benefit of the doubt at Texas. I think most of us did, because guys in front of him were getting loose, and Hocevar kind of finished him off, but he didn't start the issue. It's not on him to lift in that case. A lot of us gave him the benefit of the doubt, but he's losing any benefit of the doubt with moves like this one, because I'm glad NASCAR at least parked him for 2 laps. It was obviously on purpose. He can't keep getting away with it. And I hope this is a wake-up call. I did notice, I saw that Hocevar and Matt Weaver, of course, who's a great writer, race and motorsports writer, they had started like a podcast. There's them and some other folks. And 2-3 episodes in, Hocevar announced his departure. But they announced that Hocevar is no longer doing the show the week after this deal. So I don't know what's going on over there, but it just that at least told me that this is kind of eating at Hocevar a little bit. Like, shoot, he knows he effed up, and he's like, I was trying to be focused this year. He told me when I talked to him that he's not been wearing the goofy hats this year because he doesn't want any excuses. He doesn't want people to look to that and say, oh, he's not focused, he's not trying, he's goofing off.
You gave him another reason now.
So I just, I hope he's doing well. I'm glad this seems to have been a wake-up call. He's like, shoot, I did mess up. I need to stop doing that. This isn't, I'm not a teenager anymore. He's 20, I think. Maybe he's 21.
You grown now.
Yeah, he's 6'5" or something like that. He's grown.
he's big grown.
To be fair, I was Carson. I was 6'5" at 15 years old, so never mind. That height doesn't necessarily matter.
I've never been 6'5".
Yeah, Carson, you're no longer just in Eric stop motions anymore. You're a real driver now.
Yeah. Now you could have gotten away with that in the Double E Cup series. Maybe not. I'm not sure.
No, we did. I don't know if anyone ever right-reared somebody in my series. Honestly, I'd have to go back and look. Go ahead, I'm a big Carson Hocevar fan. So I'm a big Hocevar fan. Clearly, a lot of talent. Yeah. Just I want him to clean this stuff up because it's hurting his reputation. It could hurt his reputation and ability to get deals and done with other teams in the future. So. I'm rooting for him. I hope this was a wake-up call, and based on what I've kind of seen, maybe it was.
I hope it is. It's just that every time we think something would be a wake-up call or whatnot, or, oh, we can't do that again, he's getting this scrutiny, he does it. I do want to preface, I like him as a person. Talking to him, I think he's great. The driver part, that's where I'm having the issue with. I personally think NASCAR should have sent the message and just parked him.
Yeah. I mean, like the 2-lap. I mean, yeah, the 2-lap penalty. It was a good message, but yeah, and an even stronger message would have been to park him because he's done this multiple times. He's done it so many times, man. So, yeah, eventually you got to stop it.
Last thing, I saw Denny Delivers in the chat. That's what I was losing it at. How do I reach these kids?
That never gets old. That never gets old. I like that. But yep, that was the Martinsville weekend in a nutshell. Moving on now. We had some weather creep in on Friday, and I believe from the sounds of it, it was stormy, but from the sounds of it, it looks like it's about to get
funky.
Proud of the NASCAR.
That
was the perfect timing.
Right foot now.
Got me.
Take it back now.
Left foot, left stomp.
No, I gotta redo. No, I gotta do that again. And it's the lightning round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Jared, what do we have on tap for tonight? Damn, Eric, you got me. I was not expecting that.
All right, we got a good amount of stuff here. I saw this one added in last minute here. Johnny Sauter is going to be driving number 04 for Roper Racing this weekend, replacing
or not this weekend, but just moving forward.
Okay. Replacing Caden Honeycutt. Who's only on a 6-race deal.
Oh, okay. Honeycutt was. Yeah. He was. I know it was just Bristol Dirt, but he was the show for part of that race a couple weeks ago.
I was about to say, but more clarification.
These next two are pretty big here. Josh Williams' Atlanta walk-off car is going to be sold as a diecast.
Oh,
checkers are wreckers.
Get the money ready.
Yeah.
Except this car was neither. Was it ever put on a wrecker? I guess they had to get it off the track somehow. Maybe
they just pushed it next to the NASCAR hauler.
Well, he parked at a checkers, so
yeah.
Tony Stewart is an official NHRA top alcohol winner.
Mm-hmm. He was so happy. He was more.
Got to make sure you specify that top alcohol, because I accidentally thought it was top fuel. He's not in that.
Yeah, no. And he looked way more happy than he has with NASCAR's Stewart-Haas Racing team. For one.
This one is great. I love this next one. NASCAR may be going through some big changes, and some of their tracks will too. Pocono may have a legal weed farm built next to it to maximize the profits of their excess land. And Indianapolis and COTA are looking to possibly build amusement parks next to them, according to Adam Stern.
COTA land. I've been looking into that. I'm excited for that.
If you get mad that Pocono becomes less family friendly, hey, just go to Indy and COTA for the amusement park. So there you go.
But hey, land.
Yeah. Hey man, yep, spam 420s in the chat. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know what day tomorrow is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh shit, it really is.
That's right.
If you're listening to this as a podcast, it probably already is that day. Hey.
Yeah.
Tune in to this podcast tomorrow at 4:20 p.m.
Yeah, on 4:20.
Actually, I might be able to get it up by 4:20. I'm gonna put it up at 4:20 a.m. tonight or tomorrow.
Cha, real smooth.
Can you get it at the 4:20? Never mind.
Too many 4:20 references. All right, let's go. Keep going.
Ending this baby off here. So a couple of them. Two things here, two big ones. I want to get through these before we say anything. Ricky Graven and Kurt Busch will be the honorary starters at Darlington, celebrating the 20-year anniversary.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. Wow.
And last one. Dimitri, the con artist, Dimitri has stepped down from being CEO of Motorsport Games, though he is still on the board of directors.
The person who's taking over for him is the former president who had formerly stepped down due to issues that he saw, but also it's like Costco is still remaining on as a board member. I don't expect anything different.
Yeah, I don't know. From what it sounds like, that company's in complete turmoil. So
something to bring
CFO.
Up. Something to bring up is, and I'm not saying this as like a bootlicker or one. I'm not gonna say if something comes out to buy the game so we can pay for the next one. But what I'm saying is that I did see from Gary Owens' video, I think it was, that this guy also was helping make the 2010 through 2014 F1 games too.
Okay. I mean, those were
pretty
those
good.
were those were decent at the very least. Yeah.
And last but not least, tonight, not 420, tonight at 11:59 Central Time. So yes, you may be 420 for some of you. The top 75 Cup drivers of all time list is due. It's tonight. I will not accept any others of them. And
no late work.
We have dozens already, so I'd like more. Make my workload more. I want to see your opinions. Please, weekly podcast guest at gmail.com.
Yeah.
I'm really glad we're only doing the Cup drivers because I've been seeing some of the debate on some of these people that NASCAR has been bringing out every now and again. And I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. I'm good. I'm good with that.
Like Randy LaJoy being on the list. It's like, well, probably not for Cup series. He wouldn't be on there.
Was Mike Stefanik? He was on there, I think.
He was on there. He's a Hall of Famer, so of course, that makes sense.
Yeah,
but I'm glad we're sticking to Cup drivers too.
Well, it's I see MVR owner says, "How have dozens done all 75?" I gave you guys 3.5 months.
We gave y'all so much time, bro. Like basically, we're like the professors. So if you don't turn it in, that's on you. F all the way. F.
You can't afford a 0 in the grade book.
No makeup work, no extra credit, nothing like that, bro. Like y'all had 3 months to do this. So
see me after class.
It's hard though. I get it. It's hard, but that's why I got mine done early. But yeah.
But that'll be it.
And do it for this edition of the famous lightning round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. I was waiting for Eric to do something. I thought he was going to do something again. So I was just like, I saw his face. Yeah.
I want to apologize to our 1,000+ audio listeners. Like every time they hear it, just go out for 5 or 6 seconds. That's just normal. That's Darian.
Oh,
they know. They expect it at this point. Jared. They're checking their earbuds. Like, oh, what?
Yeah. Sorry, guys. But anyways, moving on. We can get through these topics pretty quickly before we get to picks. But in recent news, and this caught, oh my gosh, a lot of the ignorant parts of the fan base were really pissed off about this one. It was crazy. I knew immediately as soon as I saw Adam Sir tweet this, oh yeah, it's gonna get a mixed reaction. You know, like fans are some fans are gonna know what he's referring to. Others are gonna be like, electric, not a non-NASCAR. But NASCAR making major eco changes. NASCAR to have new sustainable fuel by 2028, not electric. Let me say that again, not electric, new sustainable fuel. And then EV charging ports at venues, renewable energy powered electricity, and vows to be carbon neutral by 2035. So fellas, is there really much to say on this? Or?
I'm going to be completely honest here. And I know they're doing this. That's the way everything's going. I was in that boat saying, instead of going electric, make more kind of sustainable fuel the way that like Formula One does. They're doing that. Yeah. But outside of that, like this whole green initiative, and I'm not saying this out of any malice or going on the other side. I personally don't care about the whole issue, NASCAR or outside of NASCAR with it. I don't care. Like it's not going to affect me at the track. People show up in their little chargeable cars and charge them at the track now. So good for them, but it's not going to affect me. As long as it's not affecting my experience as a fan, I don't really care.
Wait, hold on. You mean to tell me that NASCAR is not going to die because of this? What?
I worked in car sales for a year, so I've seen how it is on the sales side of it. The bottom line is for all car dealerships, the car manufacturers, they need these to succeed. So that's just the hand that they've all been dealt at this point. Chevy, Toyota, Ford, don't matter who it is, they need to have some kind of electric component in their car, and they need it to succeed in order just to make it these days. And that's just where the car industry is headed.
Well, I'd made the comment like a few weeks ago after the Super Bowl. If you watch the Super Bowl, every car commercial during the Super Bowl was promoting some sort of an electric vehicle. Every single one. And see, for better or worse, that's where the industry's heading. I'm not smart enough to know if that's a good idea. I don't know what goes into the development of these cars. I don't know what kind of drain on resources they are. I don't know how sustainable the idea of a full fleet of electric vehicles truly is. I'm not smart enough to know that. I just can see with my eyes that every major car manufacturer is focusing on electric vehicles. And historically, NASCAR has relied very heavily on OEM support to stay relevant, for teams to be competitive. And so at some point or another, NASCAR is going to at least have to, they're going to at least have to play somewhat nicely with these manufacturers. And that doesn't mean turning the Cup Series into an electric vehicle series. But the reason I'm sensitive to this is because I do think an electric support series for NASCAR that's been rumored is a fantastic idea. And so to see so many fans immediately jump out of their chair at the very mention of green or electric, it's a little disheartening because, yeah, if the Cup Series went electric in the next 10, 15, 20 years, maybe even after that, that'd be disappointing. I would have a hard time adjusting to that. But NASCAR absolutely should have some sort of an electric series, even if it's just an exhibition series. They should absolutely consider that because manufacturers will eat it up. That might be a great way to get a new OEM interested in NASCAR into the sport. It's more racing, it's more content, potentially different drivers, different teams participating. Who doesn't want to see that? You don't have to watch, but if it's great, you might watch. So that's what bothers me is fans immediately jumping at anything electric and saying how bad it is, how awful it is. It's like, well, no, like, sure. If Hendrick Motorsports wheels out an electric car and that's what wins the Cup Series championship in 5 years, that would be tough to adjust to. But electric and NASCAR absolutely has a place. It just, a separate series.
That's for me. It's always like the entire issue itself. As long as it doesn't start going in and I have to be mandatory do anything, or I have to watch the Cup Series. Like if I had to watch the Cup Series or Xfinity or trucks be an electric series and go bzzz by me, like as long as I don't have to see that, I'm probably if they do one, like my idea was, why don't you do, if you want to do your stadium racing and bring it out to different areas that have never seen it before, do some kind of college supported series that goes to stadiums, something like that. But that's my whole thing. Like as long as I'm not forced to drive to the track in an electric car and watch electric cars all the time, and then have to be forced to hear the damn Chevy ads all the time with electric cars. Like, as long as I don't have to change anything I'm doing in my life, I don't care with it in general. That's my whole deal with it.
But I mean, that's what I'm thinking is the stadiums are the perfect setting for it. You could race in a dome stadium. You could race anywhere. That's my thing is there's a place for an electric series in NASCAR, and you don't have to watch, but it is disheartening when so many fans just immediately just shut down any talk of electrification related to NASCAR. That's what I'd like to avoid that.
It's funny.
Definitely weird.
Talking about having hybrids at any point, and fans don't like that. And that's probably the best way they're going to add another 100 or 200 horsepower in the future.
That's the funniest part about it. Yeah.
I will say this. It was kind of crazy when I was looking at the hybrid Camry versus standard Camrys, and the hybrids got a lot more horsepower. They definitely got up and drove a lot more when I was selling cars.
Yeah. So fan base, be careful what you wish for now, because you want more horsepower. This could be the only way. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to say on that. I think we've just about covered that. But moving on to the final topic before we get into the Talladega picks, you get a penalty, you get a penalty, you get a penalty, you get a penalty. Everybody gets penalties every week. Oh, but colleague, we'll rescind your penalty though. You're good. But the penalty report: colleague wins their appeal, and then Austin Dillon is penalized. How will this affect Austin Dillon's legacy? I was kidding. I saw Denny Delivers post like that tweet, and then the picture of the I think the show's canceled now. His old show on
the reality show.
Yeah. I think it's canceled now, but oh gosh. I had to go back to the memory banks with that one. But anyways, Austin Dillon and the 3 team have been penalized 60 driver/owner points and 5 playoff points. Dillon's crew chief, Keith Rodden, has been suspended 2 races and fined $75,000. But as for colleague, they were awarded all of their points back, and the crew chief suspension and fine are still going to be in place. But what's funny is now that they've gotten all of their points back, Danny made me laugh because he pointed out yeah, they're 25th and 26th in points. So they're still not running up to par.
A difference of 1 point from each other.
Yeah, so it's still a lot of work to do. It's good they got the penalty back, but I was expecting a lot more from them so far. We're still a quarter of the way into the season, though. Maybe things might change, but it's not very likely. But Jarrett, let's get into your thoughts on it. I mean, just another penalty. But I mean, Kaulig gets their points back with it, and Austin Dillon gets penalized. So I mean, is this going to be a regular thing each week?
I mean, at this point, it has been, but I think we should separate them in the sense of which is which. With the colleague side of it, the talking about the fairness stuff, on one hand, I'm like, yeah, that is good, and I do want NASCAR to be fair. On the other hand, the only other time I can ever think about NASCAR calling something fair, and I know I'm gonna tick off a bunch of Jeff Gordon fans here.
I knew it.
2013. We need to be fair and change the rules for our second most popular driver. So I'm very skittish on being pro fair being the rule book used in changing why and how we govern the sport. I like it. On face value, I like it. I'm just, what other times can a team bring up, well, hey, in the past, this wasn't penalized as much. It'd be more fair to deduct our penalty. Like, it's a
weird
slippery road.
It's a weird precedent. And that's why in my video, I talked about how this just needs to be like a clean reset. And this was before the Austin Dillon penalty. But like after the news that NASCAR stepped in and said, hey, colleague, we're going to give you your points back to at least put your penalty on the same tier as Hendrick Motorsports. Like after that, because that was breaking all sorts of precedent, I just think you need a clean reset. Back to what the rule book says. NASCAR, don't expect a handout like that from NASCAR again. Don't expect them to come in and save the day and try to save face and, save face from what's been a bad couple of PR weeks. So that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping it's just a clean slate, because I'm kind of with you, Jarrett. It looks good. I think it is probably fair, but I don't know how I feel about NASCAR making this exception. Like, how do you think the Ford teams last year, like RFK, SHR, front row, and maybe their penalties are way more justified than the Louver penalties, but still they're sitting back and thinking, well, damn, like, I don't know. Ultimately NASCAR wanted both Kaulig and Hendrick to have 100-point penalties. Like, they wanted the full penalties to stick. When the appeals panel made their inexplicable decision in the Hendrick case, NASCAR's hand was kind of forced. So very awkward scenario. Not sure exactly how I feel about it, but at least in the short term, I think it was the fair call.
Yeah, fair call for sure as far as the colleague sides. Now, for Austin Dillon, his car got sent to the R&D center, as well as Ryan Preece's, I believe Brian Talkers had said that. So yeah, they're just picking the cars at random, and they're just like, hey, they're finding this. Now, Austin Dillon's car did pass post-race inspection, but then upon further review, they found something they didn't like, and now he has the penalty. They're going to appeal, of course, but I did find it funny that their tweet talking about it reminded me of the Tyler Reddick situation from last year. It had the same font and everything. It was set up. Set up a similar way, and at first I was thinking, I'm like, damn, Tyler Reddick left them twice. How is that even possible?
And then I made a little meme, and I took the template and I put in the big smoke order from GTA San Andreas.
That's funny. But really quick before we move on, Eric, I'll start off with you. I mean, they'll appeal it. You think they'll win their appeal?
I have no idea, because all we know is that there was an issue with the underwing. It was the assembly. It was like I don't remember. I have to reread the sentence. I feel brain dead tonight. For whatever reason.
I feel.
We don't know what the issue was. And RCR's statement, when Hendrick released their statement, they were like, hey, there was inconsistent communication. There was this, blah, blah. RCR didn't give any of those details. They were short, sweet, to the point, very honest. I don't really know. I think there's a good chance they get the penalty maybe modified slightly, lessened slightly, but I don't know. I honestly don't. Cha-cha, real smooth.
Whoever wants to take it next.
I think that NASCAR did change the rules, though, that whatever the penalty is, the only change it can be is down to the minimum penalty based on what NASCAR said. So, I mean, I'm still thinking they're going to get a points penalty no matter what.
Yeah, I agree with the points
penalty.
Well,
it could still be fully rescinded. They have the right to fully rescind it, but they have to say, oh, they were not guilty.
Danny?
Yeah, I'm with Eric on that one. They could, but more realistically, they will have some kind of points penalty in the grand scheme of things. I think, especially now that they've just went through all this, and it's like, okay, now we got to really set the rules here a little bit.
Yeah, so we'll see how that develops. But like Jared said earlier, becoming a weekly thing. We've had penalties almost every week of the season so far, right? I want to say like maybe like 6 of the 9 races, maybe.
Nice.
Nice.
I'm getting I'll be real, when I put together the points ticker, I'm getting really sick of having to change people every Wednesday.
I know. Yeah,
Stay in the same damn place.
They always upload they always like announce the point stuff like the day of the podcast. And I'm thinking like, oh yeah, Jared's gotta change all that. So yeah, no, it's very funny. But yeah, we'll see how their appeals process goes. But fellas, it is time for Talladega. Talladega. Oh boy. Talladega Super Speedway.
And you need to get a compressor.
I know. sorry. I'm sorry. It's getting a little late, so I don't know.
Basically, Jared's saying that you couldn't have applied for American Idol back in like 2020 when it all had been done virtual because they wouldn't have been able to tell what you was singing there.
If I would have auditioned for American Idol back in like the early 2000s, I would have definitely gone viral in those days for how bad I would have been, for sure. For sure. But yeah, no, Talladega's this weekend. But before we get into the information, some weekend notes. Bobby Allison, Donnie Allison, and Red Farmer, famous members of the famous Alabama gang, will give the command for the Cup race. And the Cup race name is the Geico 500. They've like been sponsoring this race since what, like 14, 15? Yeah.
Still have a long ways to go to beat the Aaron's days, but they've been around for a while.
But hey, props to them for sticking around in the sport too. Appreciate it. Laps in total are 188. The start time is at 3 p.m. Eastern time on Fox/MRN. Weather. Sunday, a beautiful and extremely nice 69 degrees with a 22, but also cloudy with a 22% chance of rain. The defending race winner is Ross Chastain. And as for the Xfinity Series race, the AG Pro 300. God, I always feel like the Xfinity Series always has these weird names all the time, basically nowadays, especially this season. I don't know. Yeah. But laps in total 113. The start time is 4 p.m. Eastern time on FS1, and you can listen to it on MRN, the Motor Racing Network. And then on Saturday, 70 degrees, partly cloudy with a 25% chance of rain. The defending race winner is Noah Gragson. And before we get into the picks, we have to go over the betting odds, the famous betting odds on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. And for Talladega, it's going to be damn near even. Joey Logano plus 1,000, Ryan Blaney plus 1,100, Denny Hamlin plus 1,200, as well as Chase Elliott coming back in his second start, coming back. I was about to say Ryan Blaney again. William Byron plus 1,400. And that'll do it for the favorites. As for the best of the rest, Brad Keselowski plus 1,500, my personal favorite of the best for the rest. Kyle Busch, or actually, it's the Kyle and Kyle show. Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson entered this weekend at plus 16 and 1,800. Christopher Bell is also plus 1,800, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. rounds it out for the best of the rest at plus 2,000. Now it's time for the famous underdog segment. Eric Jones is plus 3,000. Austin, the real deal Hill, is plus 4,500. Corey LaJoie is plus 5,500. Todd Gilliland plus 9,000. And finally, another favorite of mine, Riley Herbst plus 10,000. He has a top 10 at Daytona. Remember, only one Cup Series start. Top 10, baby. Top 10. So, hey, you never know. You never know. But before we move on to the picks, let's go over the NWP Fantasy League standings really quick. And it's been a solid season for me and others. But right now, Kansas Legacy 2 is the points leader, less than 10 points ahead of Recce Spinhouse. In third,
Eric approving.
Yeah, Eric, yep, he approves that. In third is Sean 48 NY. In fourth is Black Flags Matter. And rounding out the top 5 is Danny B. Wife. Good job, Claudia. Yeah, we're really competitive in this year. This is fun. See, it's a lot more fun when you're running up front, for sure. As for the NWP Fantasy League 2, the second fantasy league, oh no, we suck again. Blaney's pit crew has been killing it, but now sitting in P2 is Black Flags Matter. Let's go, baby. We're on the comeback trail. Let's do it. P3
So
is
you're top 5 in both of them now.
yes, sir. So consistency. I'm the only one who's top 5 in both of
Rigged.
them.
It's rigged.
Oh, that ain't going. Come on now. Give me my credit. But in P3 is Common Chase Elliott. He had the L capital, so that's funny. P4 is Racer Roar 48. And rounding out the top 5 is JC_43. I can't wait for this. Hey, Eric already looks stressed. What's wrong, Eric? What's wrong? What's wrong with you, Eric? What's wrong with you, Eric?
He knows what we're about to say.
Yeah, he already knows what's coming. And you know what's coming too, Danny. You already know what's coming too.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I can't let that go. But hey, chat, keep doing your thing, chat. Because right now the pick points look extremely close, especially 1-2. Eric is currently in the lead with 166 points. But
Thank God.
right on the edge, right there. Chat, you guys are just 5 points behind Eric. In P3 is Jarrett, only -26. But then look at the bottom 2. I'm not in the basement no more. Let's go. In P4,
Basement boy, I own it. I am
Yes.
basement boy.
Basement boy activated. In P4 is me, -28, and rounding out the top 5 in the basement for now. Keywords for now is Dannybtalks at -36. But Jarrett, fun fact though, didn't you say this is the closest the points have ever been overall up to this point since we started doing this?
Yeah, because anyone could get the points lead after this week. It's the first time we've made it a quarter of the way through the season like that.
Yeah, so it's still extremely competitive. Hey, Eric, come on, cheer up, chin up now. You're fine. You're Debbie Downer now, man. Come on,
But
you're still the points leader.
I will say I don't expect me to change much because of what I already know about picks.
Oh, yeah, true. And boom, hey, we'll see. We'll see though. We'll see if it changes up. But yeah, let's get into it. Only 2 races this weekend. Let's get right into Xfinity. Who's gonna win? I got a feeling I already know. Like,
Do I still get to go first?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yes.
Well,
I get
that's
to go
how
first.
that's how the rules work, Eric.
Yes.
I'm
yes,
just
Eric.
making sure I'm still the points leader. These last 2 weeks have been absolutely
Eric,
abysmal.
I just said you were the points leader.
I know,
twice,
but I
bro.
thought the chat
Even if they were ahead, they can't go before you, Eric.
Oh, I guess that is a
Yeah.
good point. I thought the chat might have passed me. Suarez failed me at Bristol Dirt, and William Byron. What was that this last weekend? It goes from winning this race a year ago to like barely in the top 20.
He came in as the best Hendrick car to start the weekend and was the worst finisher of them.
I know he had some sort of mechanical issue towards the end, but he wasn't even close to the top 10 before that. So I don't know what happened. Anyway, chat, I've given you a couple mulligans the past 2 weeks. That ends now. That ends today. What's that face, Jarrett? Well, you're not a believer?
I already know what the chat's picking. It's already pretty clear.
Yeah, I'm just gonna little on-air production meeting, letting the chat know. I have to have I put my picks in before everyone else, and then they send the picks to me, so I have everything ready to go. So I kind of know how it's gonna go a little bit here.
But yeah, Eric, who's gonna win the Xfinity race?
I'll go Austin Hill. I thought about going different.
Don't do it. Yeah,
but I'm gonna go Austin Hill. How many of these races has he won this year? He won Daytona. He won Atlanta, right? Like he just
he won Atlanta and Las Vegas, but 2 super speedway victories. Yeah.
Congrats, Eric. You have the same pick as the chat. It's very clear what they're picking.
Yeah, and also we're all are we all picking?
Raise your hand if you're picking Austin Hill.
We're all picking him. So this race means nothing.
Yeah, so everyone stays.
We can just move on. We can move on.
We'll just move on now. But now to the main event, the Cup Series race, the Geico 500. Eric, you start us off. Who is going to suck this weekend?
Ryan Preece is gonna suck. I don't know, just going with it. He's not a super speedway guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the guy that's wrecked in 2 super speedways so far this year, Kyle Larson.
Holy crap! I get to go. Actually, get to go. It's
I could
actually my turn.
I could skip you a few times like you did
do
me.
Do you want to skip me? You can skip me.
No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Oh man, but no, Martin Truex Jr. is gonna suck. And just super speedways aren't really his thing overall. MTJ in the basement.
I'm with Jarrett. It's Kyle Larson for me.
Yep. And as for the chat,
I think they're picking Ty Dillon.
Yeah, I see a lot of 77s. That seems to be the easy pick. But I'm seeing some 5s, but I mean, do we just want to go with Ty Dillon? Or
Give him Ty Dillon.
Yeah, it's not like this pick matters.
Yeah, Ty Dillon. I'm
But
seeing a lot of 77s.
it would take away a Larson pick for the win.
Oh, no. Now they're going with 77s now, though. Now that we started talking about it, yeah, that's the most consistent number I see. The 5s were they were close though, but
they're still pretty consistent. But
yeah, we'll go with Ty Dillon.
They might want Larson for later. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. But Eric, you start us off with this one. Who is your underdog this weekend for Talladega?
So again, this pick doesn't really count for points. So yeah, he's the points leader. But if you asked him, he would say that, yeah, he hates super speedway racing. But Christopher Bell, 3rd at Daytona. I think he was 2nd in his dual race too, if I remember, and 3rd at Atlanta. So something about this year, but Bell has actually been good on the super speedways. He's probably just a lot of luck, I suppose. But yeah, I'll go see Bell.
He's never won on a super speedway before, but believe it or not, I was talking to someone. They thought he did because they were confusing Eric Jones's win.
Oh no! Damn!
Darn. Well, by the way, I said chat you can't pick 10. So I'm actually going to put money on this guy this week, just because while he's an underdog, I think he can do pretty darn well. Got his career best finish at a super speedway at Atlanta. I'm going Corey LaJoie.
And I'm doing the same thing. Corey LaJoie, underdog.
And I'm going to go with Chris Buescher for my underdog for this one. They RFK has had good runs on the super speedway so far this year, and I could see Chris Buescher doing very well.
Now, really quick, I'm seeing 38s, but chat, are you aware that Zane Smith is in the 38 this weekend? Todd Gilliland's in the 36. So
I would think they're still aware of that.
Okay. Just want to make
sure.
It's
so weird that's like, why did they do that? Why did they not just put Zane in the 36?
Because it was already signed for the 38. So.
Yeah.
But you knew Todd was in that car. Why would you not just sign Zane to the 36? I don't know.
Because the sponsor signed for the 36. So
yeah. I'm seeing a lot more 36s. I don't know. A few weren't aware, but
just give him Zane.
Yeah, just give him Zane. I'm seeing more 38s.
Zane is still a solid one.
Still a solid pick. Still a very solid pick. And it's not for points anyway, but this next pick is the main event. It's time for who's gonna win? Who's gonna win at Talladega, Eric? Hey, no pressure, Eric. No pressure now.
There's all the pressure. Best car at Daytona in the 500, I'm convinced. And he was in control of the Atlanta race until he just didn't quite get greedy enough and finish that block on Joey Logano. Brad Keselowski will win this race.
This segment was why I was giggling earlier, because I had Brad too.
Darian, who do you have?
Who do you got, Darian?
Brad Keselowski.
Guess who I had? Brad Keselowski!
You gotta be kidding me.
Dude doesn't want to race in like 2 years. Why'd we all pick Brad?
I don't know.
Because he just makes sense.
I think they're going with Almirola.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, what?
Huh?
I saw a bunch of 10s.
No, I see a lot of 6s.
They're gone
right,
now.
We'll have to get the poll.
I see a lot of 12s
I see a lot of 6 and 8.
I see a lot of 12s as well. It's 8, 10, 12, and 6.
Okay, so let me go with those numbers again. 6.
It's 6, 8, 10, 10. It's 6, 8, 10, 12.
Okay.
I'm seeing, 6, 8, 10, 12.
All right.
In that order.
All right, polls up. Oh, that is funny. That is funny though.
Hey,
so we're literally not going to change if they.
Yeah.
Well, we will not change at all because of what we've done.
Yeah.
If they pick Brad Keselowski, I don't have to make a graphic for next week because I already have it ready.
That's funny. Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
But if they will go with Blaney, and then they actually have a chance to potentially either drop or gain.
So, chat, what do you want to do? You want to play the long game here? It's still a long season. Just keep it as is, or do you want to,
I mean, anything can happen at Talladega. Do you want to play it safe?
Yeah. This is getting good.
Watch they pick somebody different. They lose, and the 4 of us sweep.
Oh, that would be, dude.
Let's do it.
They would be basement chat.
Please.
Come on, chat. Y'all have to pick somebody different. Otherwise, this weekend's not interesting.
Oh, man. But while they pick that, while the chat decides, very tough decisions. Right now, they're going with Ryan Blaney.
Honestly, I'd be more interested between Brad and Blaney taking out the other two, but we'll just leave it like this.
Yeah, we'll see. But anyways,
if it's too close to call, like right now, even at 32%, you might have to do just those two.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit though. But right now, let me finish off the rest of these super chats. Thank you guys so much. The final super chat stage break of the evening. Marky Mark with the $5 super chat. Howdy, everyone. Well, howdy doody tooty to you as well. Fred Dog 81 with the $10 super chat. What do you think of the way NASCAR 75 is being released? Are you fine with the sort of random way they're putting it out? Should it be just one big list, or should they structure the picks differently? I don't mind it. I mean, I don't mind it. I knew going in like it wasn't gonna be exclusively to just Cup Series drivers.
Is he asking like, because it seems like they're revealing them kind of randomly, like they're not saying, hey, this guy's number 1, this guy's number 2, like best, second best,
like
third
the
best.
list. Oh, well,
maybe that's what he's saying, because I think in this case it's supposed to be a celebration. I think not making it like super divisive by putting, you know, I don't know, Jimmy Johnson ahead of Jeff Gordon and sparking that whole debate. Like, no, I think in this case it's supposed to be like a more of a just a celebration. So just, yeah, these are the 25 in any particular order. I don't mind it.
Okay.
It's our job if we want to then get all divisive and start ranking them.
We will.
We are. Yes. We're going to. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Be on the lookout. It's nothing with the $5 super chat. Weekly question. A NASCAR comedy movie is being made and you choose the name of it. What's the movie name and what is it about? Huh. Oh, I don't know.
Donuts and lug nuts. I don't know.
Damn, you put us on the spot there, man. I'm not sure. I gotta.
Talladega Nights, the Ballad of Ricky Bobby.
Talladega Nights, the sequel. Ricky Bobby comes back or something like that.
Ricky Bobby drives the next gen.
Fast and loose.
Fast and loose. And who's the star? What's it about?
Fast and loose. That's a good comedy name.
Let's see. Who would you want to be outside? You want to be outside the box with it. You don't want to pick somebody. So I'm gonna go. Let's see. I'm gonna go John Mulvaney and Jennifer Lawrence. Just way outside the box.
Yeah, that is outside the box.
It. Okay, I'm sorry. I've been talking praises about this movie for weeks. That new Puss in Boots movie, John Mulvaney is freaking hilarious. That dude's hilarious. Like, he is the best part of that movie, and that's an amazing movie.
But thanks for the super chat. Go ahead.
Funny, I don't know what the title would be. I would just somehow make this work to have Chris Pratt and Bradley Cooper play a comedic duo of either two teammates or a crew chief and driver pairing.
That'd be funny. I could see that. That'd be funny. Yeah, need the right actors and the right premise in the comedy movie. But
I want to see John Goodman play a crew chief. I think that'd be good. That voice.
And how old is John Goodman at this point?
He's got to be at least in his 60s. He might be a little old.
He's 70 years old.
Damn. But anyways, thank you so much.
Maybe more like the car owner at this point.
Yeah, the car owner role. But no, once again, thanks for the super chat, man. Really appreciate it. Speedway Anywhere with the $5 super chat. I'm sorry, Mr. Harvick. I jinx every driver I am a fan of. Pretty sure I screwed Jeff Burton's career most of the time. Oh gosh. Well, I mean, Burton did win 21 career races. I mean, that's still
a solid career.
Yeah, it's still a solid career. And then Omega Trucking Replays. Thank you so much for becoming an official BFM channel member. And then 8-bit Ghost Ripper Dragon with the $5 super chat. Some very interesting names. Random question: is that movies? Wait, hold on. Let me read this again. Random question: is that movies above your NASCAR sign or on your wall, Eric? Movies?
Oh, I moved it slightly. Yes, those are a lot of old car and racing movies. So I've only seen a few on that list, but there's Days of Thunder is on there. It's too far away. You can't really see it from here. Cannonball Run, Last American Hero, which is a great movie.
That's cool.
Is it sad at this point that DVDs have become like books are? You don't really watch them. They're just there for displaying purposes.
Well, those are actually, and it's real. So it's a fake print. It's a canvas print, but those are VHS tapes. But yeah, there's the original Mad Max is up there.
That's cool.
That's a lot of good. It's just kind of fun. I felt like it not only did it fit that very awkward, narrow space well, but I'm like, hey, I've seen a few of these. It's a bunch of old car movies. Like, that's awesome.
That's cool. Andrew Winslow of the $5 super chat. As long as they don't play "Burn It to the Ground" by Nickelback every time, burn the track. Yeah, as long as they don't do that.
No, they should play "Burn It Down" by Avenged Sevenfold.
There you go. That's even better. Ross Crash Dang with the $2 super chat. My pro hold on. This is spelled Protege. What does that say?
Protege.
Protege. Oh, protege. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Not very illiterate sometimes. Sorry. But my protege, Carson Hocevar. Oh gosh. Yeah, I honestly didn't know protege was spelled like that. So that's good to know.
I like the way you're doing that, Danny. Oh God, oh man, oh God.
Oh gosh. The super chats are painful, but thank you. Man Dude 03 videos with the $2 Canadian super chat. I'm at work, LMAO. Well, thank you so much for tuning in while you're at work. Really appreciate it.
That's pretty funny, bro. You're at work.
Yeah, you're at work, bro. Well, we're at work too, so LMAO to us as well. 8-bit Ghost Ripper Dragon with another $5 super chat. Most likely, if Junior was to buy ownership stake in a cup car from one of these, Hendrick Motorsports, Richard Childress Racing, Trackhouse, Legacy Motorsports, Legacy Motor Club, Colleague, or that's it. So out of those teams,
all the Chevy teams, basically.
Yeah,
I'd say Trackhouse because he and Justin Marks just worked together to buy a race series. So
yeah, I could see Trackhouse. I'll go with Trackhouse.
I don't know if he can afford Rick Hendrick's asking price.
Yeah,
I
don't
that's
know.
expensive.
I don't know about all that.
Yeah, no.
And they already got Jeff Gordon over there.
Yeah.
Jimmy Johnson's at Legacy. So yeah, I think Trackhouse.
Yeah. Andrew Mayer with the $5 super chat. Shout out to Chase Briscoe for getting those 2 top 5s after breaking his finger, which has turned his season around, putting him in a playoff position. Yeah, he's quickly. Yeah.
I saw he made a joking comment on Reddit that was kind of like, well, if I start struggling, I guess I'll have to break another finger.
Well, yeah, Mike Joy even said that on the broadcast. Like, damn, like Gene Haas might have to break another one or something. Damn.
Sorry, side note, Darren, I think we've got 200 votes. It doesn't seem like there's any more coming in.
Nobody's getting anything. Brad Keselowski's the pick.
I don't have to make a new graphic this week.
Yay!
Wait, no, I do, because Eric's going to get points. I'll just buffer over that.
Yeah. You'll make it work. But yeah, thanks for picking, chat. We're almost done. I promise. NASCAR _Bluey_ Taco Box 924. Thank you so much for the 2-hour super chat. So, is there hope from CEO change in motorsports games?
There is no.
No.
I don't think so. No, I mean, because he's still on the board of directors. So it's like he's still there.
It's like nothing. It's like when Vince McMahon stepped down.
Yeah, you didn't really step down, so freaking motorsport games. Isaac with the $5 super chat. Challenge for all. Ooh, including the chat. Oh, we see challenge for all of us. Okay. Every time they go single file, you must play a Thomas the Tank Engine song. Hashtag choo choo. Yeah, that's funny.
Dun, 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 dun.
There you go. Double O Music with the $2 super chat. Excited to go to my first Dega race. 43 for the win. Oh, nice, spectacular. Hopefully I'll see you there. Eric W, thank you so much for gifting another 10 BFM channel memberships. Pretty crazy. He's gifted a total of 30 tonight. And to round out tonight's super chats, 45M Mini Stock NZ. Thank you so much for the. What does the NZ stand for?
New Zealand.
Probably New Zealand.
Okay, New Zealand. Wow, all the way from New Zealand. Wow. Thank you so much for the $5.50 super chat from New Zealand. If NASCAR was to run an exhibition race outside of the Americas, where would you want it to be and why?
New Zealand.
Montreal, Circuit of Gilles Villeneuve. That place was awesome. Boris Said's 2010 victory. I watched that race from start to finish. It's awesome. A cup race would be spectacular there.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, I'd go there, and then maybe Mexico City. There'd be worries there, but I think it could be a really cool event.
Cool thing is YouTube does this thing where they give you like a weekly progress report on the studio app, and I've noticed in the last 3 months, my Canadian audience has like popped off.
Oh yeah, my Canadian audience, my British audience. Hello to all the Brits out there currently watching. But it's been awesome. Very diverse.
We need to come up. We need to have like NWP Espanol YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Oh, like the Mr. Beast one.
Yeah, we need someone to dub us over so we can capitalize on that market better.
This is the final super chat of the evening. This is a good one to close it out on. Jimmy with the $5 super chat. I just sent my guys All right, excuse me. I just sent you guys the NASCAR top 75 drivers list. Well, thank you very much on the deadline.
Well,
awesome.
Let me pull up. I won't show it on screen, but I'll at least have it here to see how many I've had sent to me.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's going to be a lot. Oh, my Lord.
How many?
Good Lord. Hold on.
Gosh.
I'm still
guys.
counting.
Yeah, he's counting. I want to say it's like
getting
20.
your homework in at the last
15.
second, I see.
Oh, 15?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot more than I expected. Wow. That's crazy. Hey, that's cool. Hey, that's a good way to end it off. Thank you guys so much for being so involved in not only, tonight's episode, but really in general, just everything, we're doing, the top 75 list, super chats, channel memberships on all four of our beautiful channels. So thank you so much. But yeah, I think that just about does it for tonight. That's a wrap, y'all. That'll conclude this edition of the famous NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Join us next week on Wednesday night, April 26th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the Xfinity channel for the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. We'll go over
doing a
all
false
the
start on you guys just to see what the chat would do.
We'll go over all of the Talladega weekend as well as the upcoming Dover weekend. But fellas, anything else to say? I think we've said it all, really.
Yeah, I'd say so. By the way, I wasn't purposely doing a false start. I was actually trying to troll the chat.
Yeah. No, we're good. Chat. He likes to troll sometimes.
Sometimes.
Don't we all?
I always troll.
Yeah.
This is
Jared. That's a pass through. You got to come back in.
All right. Well, I guess we gotta have Darian give his thing again, even though.
Yeah.
But imagine that. No, but seriously, imagine hearing that over the radio. NASCAR, you can't penalize me. I purposely sped.
Oh man. But hey, once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. This has been a blast. Again, next week, April 26th, next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the Iceberg. Make sure to tune in. And once again, that'll do it for another episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Black Flags Matter. Catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Ready. Green. What the copy? Right foot down. We had to go blast. Unbelievable, man. Way to keep your head in this. Oh, boy. Yeah. I'm done with it. Fix your face. Set sail. Steve, you look beautiful. Doing great. Ridiculous.